the lives for you guys for entertainment purposes only. And you guys are more than welcome to ask questions if you're young, you're getting into it, business, all that good stuff, life, the sky, the sand. And I am going to clean a van out a little bit. That's what my game plan is. Unless we get all fired up, we have some great comments, and we got to go Hulk Hogan. Hopefully the audio's good. We'll probably get the power pack hooked up. Well, you guys, I got to put this out there as a, they call it the red herring. You know what I mean? If you're kind of in business, all that kind of stuff, I've been doing this for, gosh, almost 20 plus years now. And I don't want you to be, I don't want you to be scared. I want you to be prepared. So, um, yeah, I think the writing is on the wall. I think I hate to say it, but I don't think any politicians out to save us anymore. And well, with the old canal being closed, you know what always gets me. This is what always gets me. We always pay, no matter what they do, whatever goes on, blah blah blah, tariffs, this and that. We pay. It definitely doesn't help my bank account. I don't know about yours. That's just my 2 cents. So I think, like I said, with all the signs, a lot of the, they got the repo markets, and they got the bonds, and they got the yields, and definitely doesn't look too fantastic out there. We'll see what this. I never really heard anything over the news over this weekend about what's going on out there, if you know what I mean. Beautiful day up here in Michigan. Nice cooler weather, which is awesome. Ooh, it's not awesome that I dropped all my tap cons. A little low on the tap cons. I think I smell a fire. Last night I had the kind of the drainage going on. Not bad by any means. I've had a lot worse, but just enough to irritate you when if you lay on your stomach sleep wise. Just enough to irritate you. What was in this? Oh, this is a sensor. There'll be a video coming out for that too. There's a sensor we ended up doing. We did a driveway sensor. Hey, we got 2 likes. Don't forget to hit the like button. I super duper appreciate it. And well, I can't show you a cat picture, but I can show you a pop, a water if you prefer water. Might even have some sweet tea. But this is that motion sensor for cars, for gate operators. It looks pretty darn good. This one got installed. So, was a little caveat to it though. It cost me 2 circuit boards, but it was my fault. I zapped them. It was a good day, a lot of productivity. Figure I'd come over here, and I kind of skipped Friday, and so the van took a hit. Didn't get cleaned up like it should have. Don't worry, I was still working. I'm always working. Some of those gate guys out there, if you ever doing like photo eyes, these little kits work pretty good. I guess they're empty empty conduit with fittings. It says it's for use with air conditioners, heat pumps, hot tubs. But what's nice is it comes with just a little chunk of hose, and then you got 2 fittings in here. They're normally about the right size. So I always like to carry this one's carry a 1/2 inch, right? If you're doing a gate with a photo eye, like an Omron or something. And then you got 3/4. And these normally will thread in, which works pretty good. So nice little kits. I mean, yeah, they're kind of expensive. Could you buy the kits and or the fitting or the hose with it? Absolutely. But it's just nice to get to technician or whoever and say, here, you know what I mean? And it helps me out because I know when I got the bag, it's kind of like that lunch bag, you get from mom, like when you're in school, the brown paper one. Hopefully it doesn't get wet. You don't want a wet paper bag where stuff falls off. How embarrassing is that? A couple more. Mr. Caleb went and got these for us at the store. It worked out good. What's up, Mr. Richby? This week, sore throat and stuffy. Going around. What are these called? AC whips. Yeah, they're just empty. They work really good though. They're just nice little kits. Nice and convenient. Oh. Is everything getting back to normal for you over there, Rich? Is anything extremely expensive or anything? Anybody doing price gouging? Any price gougers over there? Ugh. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to stay out there. There we go. A little bit maxed out on that. I know you got power on pretty decently fast. So that was good. Half inch is always a little tight. Things are a little tight. But it works. We only need to run a 4 conductor in it. Funny little story. Poor Mr. Caleb. I said, go get some PVC from Lowe's. He comes back, he's got water pipe. I'm like, we're not doing water. It's like we're doing electrical. So he went back and changed it. He made it right. Oh, I'm in reversal, so it's all backwards. Dang it. Chevy, is it five speed? Is it Chevy 5 speed? What's a Chevy 5 speed? There ain't no 5 speed, right? It's 4L60, 6L90 or 6L80, right? 5 speed. I'm just curious. We're just cleaning. We're just talking, garage door business, all that kind of stuff. Whatever. I do the lives, like I said, for most of the guys that follow the channel, which I really appreciate, by the way. And look, we got what, 3 likes? 3 likes? Oh man, so generous. So I'm just cleaning up a little bit, as Mr. Rusty would say. I got my picnic table. Yes, I do. And I tell you what, I love my picnic table. If you don't have a picnic table, get yourself a picnic table. You will thank me over and over again. This fan's a little nicer set up. It's got the bins kind of over here. And the guy was nice enough, so he put all carpet in there. So he said he put a winter package. I never had a van with a winter package. So at first when he told me, he says, hey, he goes, this van's got the winter package. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. I'm thinking, I'm not going to sleep in the thing in the winter. And he goes, no, he goes, it makes it really quiet. He goes, you'll notice it. And I would agree. It's a very quiet van, especially after he put carpet. Cleaning out because we got done with the gate operator. Had to run some conduit, do some yard work. So I just brung everything. We're kind of going up on a peninsula up there. Mr. Rich B, what do you think, Rich? You think economy's just gonna start bursting out of the seams? They say October is always that weird. That's when I think that was when in 1971, Nixon or whatever took us off the gold standard. So, and I know they say the seasonalities, and they talk about the fall. So that's why it's easier. It seems like in the fall, things fall. Say my name. I'll say your name. Tell me what your real name is and where you're from. Yes, getting back to normal. People with Alto. Oh yeah, gotta have the table. The table's a must, man. Oh, I love the table. Elevation is your friend as you get older. You don't want to wear out the joints. Oh, does this one get caught? This one got cut on. That's okay. It's still long enough. We'll keep it. Put a union on it, right? It doesn't have the right female, female, male. know if I should keep this. So I cheated. I needed something for brick, and the brick was a tan color to mount the photo eye for the gate. So what I did is I took this, I sliced off the rubber. I took two of them, and obviously I put the factory edge on the outside, and then I sandwiched two together, and then I used this as like a taupe color on the brick because I didn't want to use white PVC from like Lowe's or Home Depot. So I used this, and that worked out pretty good. Then we had something to screw into for our photo eye because obviously with a really rough brick surface, it's like landscape or brick type stuff. So I thought this wasn't too bad of an idea. I just don't know if I want to keep this chunk because it's going to be like future person will look at this and be like, "Why do you have that?" Yeah, I think I see another piece up there, so we'll get rid of it. Let's go for a walk, shall we? We'll throw this in the dumpster. Should take the garbage. Must have got busy enough. Normally, myself or Caleb does a good job. We take out the garbage, and it didn't happen. And this is why you also fill up your jugs. I fill up jugs quarter way or all the way sometimes, because otherwise the damn things blow around. Look at that mess. So I don't know who used the water jugs. I feel like in my head I remember seeing somebody use them. Definitely a nice night though. It would be a nice night to be by a fire, cooking. It's coming soon. Won't be long. It will be that time soon enough. We'll be out in the great outdoors of Michigan. What do we got here? Yes, normal. What's that say? Why are we going to the Bitcoin standard? Something. Seems like they're doing something out there, aren't they? They're manipulating something. They're gonna have to pump a ton of money into the market probably with whatever is going to happen. I think we hit our what? We hit our 40 trillion. It's a big number, man. That is a big number. I wish everybody could be like us, right? And I wish we could just keep going into debt and just keep going to the bank and get more money, more money, more money, more money. Wouldn't that be nice? I'll set you guys over here. You guys can look at the shop for a minute. Make sure no boogeymen come in. Oopsies. Do, 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 do. All right. Oh, yeah, it was they smoked out a lot of doors this week. They did a good job. I don't know how many they did. I bet they probably did 7 or 8 doors. Resis, a lot of service. So they did really good. I think they got the W WAR one that they got to go to for about 3 days for some what they call it's called how do they call it? They call it temp fence, but it's like technically like almost like permanent fence. You still got to put whatever you call it in it, concrete. What you got? The Herbert. Did you see that down there? Can you see it? The welder. I just fixed that thing. That darn thing was sitting in our fence trailer. Then we got this blower that's going to be for our saw, our concrete saw, to help. It's got a bag that goes on it, help suck up the dust. We got a certain customer that's like an apartment complex, and they don't want a lot of dust. And we got also the WAR that they're kind of funny about that. So you got to run the saw dry, and then you try not to dust them out horribly. And those concrete saws. That's a 220 though welder. Definitely don't use a welder much in our line around here, but I think but it works good. It works good. We had it for we used to have a guy that was building our gates. His name was Dave also. And Dave is actually about where the van is parked right now. We've still got the trailer, it's still out in the field. It's a big, like 70-foot long house trailer. But Dave was building our gates for us at the time when things were super crazy. I got this bad Apex. I don't know if I should keep it. I don't know what I need. I mean, I hardly ever need these switches. This one's bad though. I do like these antennas though. I feel like I've been shortchanged on antennas lately. You know, like your little antennas for gates or whatever. You know, this is an Apex. This is the circuitry that's in the gate actors that we like to use. But I fried two of these. I did it, man. It was me, all me. I ended up putting across. They got these accessories. You're not able to see it. It's too dark out here. Accessory powers. Well, I shoved some wires in there, and one was whipped out, wadded out, and it arced out, and I zapped. I zapped two of them. It was a master slave. I messed that up. That was all me. So that was about $1,200. Not cool, man. Not cool. Don't be afraid if you're jumping on here or whatever. You guys got questions? Don't be afraid. There's no stupid questions. Um, like I said, that's why I do the lives. Otherwise, too, you can always email me at the daveadubson@gmail.com. I put it in the description below. Typically, all my videos. Not everyone, but pretty close. Green side. Could you just circuit board? It just feels wrong. Throwing away whatever you call it board. Basically a $600 board. Don't do it. Don't be a hoarder. Don't do it, Dave. Don't be a hoarder. It just feels so wrong. I can't live with myself if I throw it away. Here, I'll show you that saw. Oops. Doo-doo-doo. There's our saw. It's got the big nozzle on her, the big shoe, and suck at it. That's a lot of prep work right there. Getting that bad boy all put together. And then we got a saw. The saw blade right here ordered. It's a little bit thicker. B&D, they do a pretty good job. Yep. And then obviously there's the blower. That's only like 100 and wasn't very much. You can buy it off. I think it came through Home Depot. I know I just seen the hose. I gotta verify that the hose fits. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Everything's so full. Ooh, got a Lincoln. A lot of people love those Lincolns. Lincolns do good. Uh, oh yeah. When I did black iron duck. Okay, for cast top hoods. Nice. Yeah, the saw exhaust. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a great great point. So what happened? So at this one place, and it's like I was looking at something there. Like I've said before, the WAR. They So kind of what happened one time, at least with this one job. Caps over there, whatever. He's cutting. There's a nice, decent sized slope, but it's quite a ways. It's quite a ways of slope. So he's got another guy there, and the guy is watering the blade and all that. Well, you know how this goes, right? It's making a slurry. So that slurry is running down to the drain, right? Which is probably like just a drain for a pond or something. It goes where the little ducky swim or whatever. But anyways, the slurry is going there. And remind you, brand new. Like I mean, like 5 day old, 10 day old, fresh black asphalt. So he's got this slurry that. And so he gets done and he knows, right? He knows he's like, man, like I made a mess, so he's trying, right? You know how it is though. Like you can't ever get that like plume off there unless you probably like scrub it. I mean, it ain't gonna look as good as when it was new. And this was quite a long time ago. But basically, the long story short is, right, almost got fired from the WAR. Like, I mean, it was like the next day, and the contractor and the GC were like, oh man, you're the hot topic. And he's like, what'd I do? And they're like, you see that, Junior? Do you see that mess? Like, like the big dog, you know, does not like that. So it's like this place is, like I said, it's a it's one of those interesting. They normally are really good. They're really good, right? And they're a blessing, right? They're the type of company like they're one of the ones too that'll even like they'll pay for your stuff. They're like if you need something that's not like ridiculous, like let's say over like $10,000, they're like just put that on our bill. Like we'll pay for it. So like this one's a different one, but he's not going to have access to really water. And I told him, I said, I've noticed it seems like when you deal with concrete, when you got to deal with water, it's such a different animal. You know what I mean? Like you got to either bring the tank, you got to bring the pump, you got to bring hoses. Then is it like, do you have enough water? So the idea is this is kind of to please the masses with the suction. It's just, yeah, is it still, I'm sure there's still going to be some dust. We'll find out. We'll find out, but I'm sure at least it looks like we're trying. And then the other thing is at least it's fast, if you know what I mean. Because then you can blow it off. What we try to do is use a winter mix. That was one that went bad too. And it's a nice looking board too. It's clean. But I made sure I wrote on it right away with your boards. This lighting's horrible. We should let me turn it on there in case there's some guys out there come across that are like, what's he talking about? And I know it's backwards, but I write on it right away. You can always normally take this off with brake cleaner. If you mess up, I write bad right on it. And then the other ones, what we did is I wrote the version, what version they are, because with this one being a master slave, it had to be they have to be the right version. They have to be this is 1.7. So I made sure I wrote on them that they're 1.7. But this one was acting up too. We just had to say screw it, man. We just had to go. I said, just put it in. I said, let's move on. I said, I want this customer done. It was getting late. I knew I just didn't want to deal with them. It's the cost of doing business, is what they say. This is the one that was on the shelf. What does it say? Bad stop button to something. So this one's got a bad stop button. It is common for these sometimes the buttons, they'll just say stop. So this one had a bad stop button. So I'm gonna throw this one away too, because we got some new ones. It's funny, just a little weird thing about them is you can get the Apex 2, as far as I know, I haven't really 100% proven this. But I think you can put a regular Apex in there. And the only thing I really noticed with Apex 2, the difference is that this has, you have to put a 10K resistor in here, or it has to have the 10K photo eyes and whatnot. So I think you can just use regular Apex. And the Apex, oh, what about the Apex? The Apex, it's cheaper. Like she couldn't find the Apex 2s, but she could find the Apex. So that saved our bacon having those in stock. So she's gonna get a couple more, and then she was gonna try to get Apex 2, but I don't think she could find them at the time. Thank you, by the way. We got 6 likes. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. I really, truly do appreciate it. Ah, exhaust is okay. I know. Slurry makes a mess. Yeah. The problem is slurry, because then it takes, you got the slurry, then it takes more water to get rid of it. And then you never know what kind of ecosystem you're running into, where if you're running it down a drain, somebody's freaking out about it, and it's not good. It's probably not good for the environment, blah, blah, So, and then now you got everything wet. So now you got to try to put more time into trying to dry everything out, leaf blower, torches, whatever you're using to try to help dry the system out before you can put the loop and then loop sealant. So I'm sure and I was thinking maybe it'll make the saw last longer because you're getting the dust away from it. Possibly. I know it's probably still heat and hard on it, on the blade, especially because you're not running water on it. But I've noticed this common trend. We've talked about this. The saws are lasting about, is when you get the free blades, they last about whatever they give you, 10 or 12 blades. And the saw seems like they malfunction. Like they got it perfectly timed for so many hours or whatever they do. Been there before? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Ooh, cutting with oh yeah. Cutting with track saw. Oh yeah. Core cutting. Yeah, I forget what did Cap was at that place that's real picky. And I guess he took a hammer. I think it's over here. Let's take a look. He took the oh, there it is. He ended up he had to cut out squares for putting in some fence posts. And I think he bought this bit. He didn't really like it. The things were come loose. Oh, we gotta get hooked up to power here. So he bought this big old paddle. Look at that big old bad boy. Look how big that thing is. It's big. Bought this big old paddle. Must be one he lost or whatever, lost these. I don't know. So he was using this with the hammer. Oh, there it is. It's even in here. Oh yeah. So he's using that, and the guy was like, the guy said something about like, well, why don't you just cut it? And he's like, cut it. He's like, oh hell no. He says, I rather just hammer. He says, I rather jackhammer the asphalt out of the way. He says, because he says they're so picky about the dust or the slurry. He just said no. He said, I'll just keep jackhammering it. He says it was a lot of extra work. It felt like, but he said at least I didn't have nobody complaining. I was like, I get it, man. I totally get it. Sometimes slow is fast, if that makes sense. Ooh, I got the good bug spray. This is always my favorite. You gotta use bug spray. At least it smells decent. Get your stuff. That citrus stuff. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Do, 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 do. I had to have the wife to try and order a door latch because this one has malfunctioned. So it irritates the crap out of me because the door has like no resistance on the side door. And then it also swings open too far and it wants to hit my passenger door. If I got people with me, passengers, They go to open up the passenger door, get in there, and next thing you know, they're like, oh, like I can't stand when two pieces of paint, even though it's not a very super nice fan, but I like to keep my stuff as nice as possible. Um, and they want to like the paint, scuffs each other, hits one another. That's not no fun. So that's irritating. I don't know how this box became together here, but it is a total mess. Yep, it is a mess. What is this? AC adapter. I ended up using some of my silicone. So those this is a Supreme. Too bad it's backwards, right? These little hand ones. I love these little hands ones for doing gate operators and stuff. They work pretty nice. I really need a headlamp. All right, if you got a good way to store grease, like the grease tubes, let me know because I got the Milwaukee grease gun and the button has been pressed on it multiple times. So now I pull the lever out of it so it's not got pressure. So if it does get pushed, it doesn't. I've had it just ooze the whole bottle in the corner of the van or something on the vehicle. This van's the extended version. I can't reach that. I can't reach that shovel. And then I was just blessed enough that I had a brand new tube, right? Because who doesn't want to carry an extra tube with you? And it must have got hot or something in the van. And it's in one of these Milwaukee little bins, which I really do enjoy those. It popped. Not all of it, but like a quarter of it, maybe a little under a quarter, blew out in the bottom of my bin. And so I went to get a spray can lube out of there, and it's just all grouped up with grease. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like you got to be kidding me. So now I got to tear the bin apart, clean all the bottles off. But if I go to a residential right now, I mean, that's going to be a mess. I don't know if it's right here. This is the lube. Is this the one? Oh yeah, look at this is what I found. Oh, it's even on the bottom of my 3-in-1. That's what I found. I was like, are you kidding me? I just stuck it back in there. I was like, I'll have to address that another day. The tube just blew the bottom out for some reason. It's gross. Yeah, you just go back in there like that. So yeah, I know. First world problems. What are you gonna do? Oh, oh, what we got here? For get the is it the shovel for that hammer? Oh, with the shovel. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That hammer's heavy. I like that. We got that Milwaukee. Or I'm sorry, it's the DeWalt. It's a medium size, boy. It really comes in handy. Shovel, not a bad idea though. I could see that being handy. I think he bought a solid bit. It's a little bit smaller for a paddle to smash through that a little bit. So, whoa, so sorry. It's gonna get wild out there. After a while, I hardly ever feel like I never really take stuff back. It just accumulates, and that's kind of like one of those like what do you call it? It's like I guess it's a good point to bring up, right? Because that's why I'm always like trying to tell people, like especially the new guys that are getting into the business and stuff. It's like, are you sure you want to get into this? You know what I mean? Because it's like it's you know I was talking to the uh, wife were trying. We were just talking about some random stuff, I think, and we were talking about, if we were to ever, like, if you were to ever move and then to bring the business back, and I was like, I would never do that. I'd never do that again. Like, that was the worst. I mean, you did what you had to do at the time, right? But it's so much easier now to have separation. But it's just amazing. I can't tell you, like, I really do not like clutter. I am not a, I like to be organized. I know I'm not the best at it, but the thing is, you got to remember, I'm kind of pulled in many different ways. And then it's just, this thing is always the catch all, the guys. It's just like nobody's been slow right now where they're just like, oh, I got a whole week just to screw around and clean. And it hasn't been that way. It's been flat tires after the next job to the next job to the next job to this person called now. They got an emergency. And so like yeah, so like this job, I mean, I got boxes. I brought all my electrical stuff, even my personal little bins that I had in my old trailer. Just because you know how it is, it's like you just need that one fitting to make it right. And and so we've accumulated this stuff. Now I've been trying to consolidate it a little bit more down to a couple bins, at least so you have it. Because to me, it's like the stuff turns into like I'm gonna grab this bin. It turns into like uh, what do you call it? It's like a drug drawer. It's better to have it than not, especially when you're up and you're just like, all I need is that one fitting. You know, like I got the video. So like here's a bin, right? That was probably from a job. I don't know why there's loop detectors or loops in here. This obviously was off a fence job, so that doesn't belong in there. It's not conduit related, in my opinion. But you got to have like glue. I mean, you got to have elbows. Oh, you want to be like the professionals and have the little caps on there so it doesn't burn or get the wire caught. You know, and like for me, you know, I'm always trying to better myself. And the guys are always trying too, but they kind of they'll follow my lead on that stuff a little bit. Like they'll be like, "Hey, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know, this is what I figured out. This is the new way to, like, this is the way to do it, man." Like you watch a video or you get somebody, if you're lucky enough to get like, Rich B in your life that sends you pictures and videos of stuff that you're like, oh shoot, you're like, damn, you're like, that's how you do it. Like, that's how the professionals do it. I'll be darned. A grease gun sitting right here. But if you run a fleet, I struggled for years. I tell you what, this thing is just well worth the money for grease and all your fittings. If you got a fleet of vehicles and tractors or whatever you got, skid steers, man, this thing is super handy. Pull the trigger. It's a lifesaver. I can't tell you how many times I couldn't reach for stuff and I'd have to call somebody out, a kid, a wife, or somebody. Can you like just squeeze the lever? Like an old pump style. So that thing comes in real handy, but it's got this little bleeder valve on the side right here. This is the button for it right here on top. That smack stuff and all this grease will come out. So that's why I got it extended. So there's no pressure in there. So yeah, you got to be careful. And actually, I'm gonna clean it off a little bit right now because I don't want grease to get all over everything. Because it just got used today for servicing a oil change. So definitely handy. So this one's probably a good one. We were good doobies. We powered it up while we were out the job. That's a 1.7. So I think this is should put on here if this is Apex or Apex 2. Not where are you? This is just right at Apex. Ordered Apex controller. Ordered something, says 26. There we go. Throw that up here. 1.7 Apex. All right. Fair enough. Whew, man. I see something Rich sent me. Uh, Too much screws and bolts, wire, nails, all kinds of yeah. Yeah, I get it. I still don't know what, like I said though, you know what? I'm telling you, Rich. I'm telling you. Probably shouldn't get rid of it. It'd be like me, man. I tell you what, we had a 55-gallon drum in here big old steel drum, and it was halfway full of legs. And we just kept pouring legs and legs and legs until wood legs. I told myself one day, I'm like, we'll never use this. Like they'll rust before I'll ever. So I remember I threw them away, huffed them out to the scrapper, dumped them in. We don't need those anymore. And then ever since that was like the turning point. We can never have enough now. Like we never have enough fasteners. It's like we never have a surplus. We're always buying them. It's like they got in cahoots with Service Spring or whatever, and now we're always buying them. It's like they learned. Like they were like, we don't need to give them so many fasteners. They don't use all these. Just reduce our make them buy some. They should have some on their truck, you know, or whatever. But I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. But maybe it's one of those things you're not really, hardcore in the game anymore, so you don't really, have to play that. Uh, um, you don't have to play that system anymore, if that makes sense. It's weird. It's weird how life evolves, and it's really hard to explain to the younger generation because they don't go through it. Just they have to. I mean, they do sometimes. Eventually, like, what do you do with that? Do you keep that? Hmm? Do you keep that? I mean, that's still usable. That's still usable. Nah, we're gonna get rid of it. But you know, I'm still in that like provider phase, and I'm sure that always is the case even when you get older. But I'm still in that provider where you got to, taking care of kids, and you got a lot of spinning plates. Is the way I always like to look at it. Got a lot of plates you're spinning, like right, like in the you got plate here, you're grabbing here, and everything adds up. Everything costs mucho. Like I'm personally thinking we're probably gonna have some hard times coming. I just don't see how this stuff can be sustainable and everything that they got ready or they ruined basically is basically it takes so long to get the infrastructure back up and running. 62 it says. Oh yeah, yep. The minute you get rid of it, you need it. That is the truth. Isn't that the truth? I'm ready for the tiny home. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I am with you. I think they I think they might have lied to us about the American dream. The house with the white picket fence. Well, God darn it, you got to paint that damn white fence, and you got to fix it, and repair it, and then when the freaking neighbor runs over it because he comes home drunk, kids have it good. Yeah, it's a crazy time, man. It's a crazy time. Everything just blows my mind lately. Might get a little dark. I gotta get rid of some of this chain. We did a couple gates. We changed the chain out. Oh, let's see how good the camera picks up in the darkness. Like our little lights. They're so pretty. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They're actually for the night. So that's not the truth. Isn't that the truth? It's a lot, man. It's a lot. I've been trying to teach some of those younger guys, you know, to slow down. You know, I was there too at one time, and you think that stuff's just going to fix everything. You know, you get a girlfriend, that's going to fix everything. You get a house, that's going to fix everything. You get the nicer car or the brand new car with a payment, that's going to fix everything. You know, and it doesn't. It doesn't. It just adds more to the plate to take care of, to ensure, to wax, to make sure you don't get paint chips, to, you know, somebody wants something, I'm hungry, let's go. You know, you never took me on that date or whatever it is. It is getting to be a lot. I can see where I've been seeing kind of this trend where they're talking about like people are saying they're tired. And I go, I get it, man. I get it. It's overwhelming. At least with the old stuff, maybe it was a little more delayed. You know, with the WAR and stuff, everything's so rapid fire now. And it's just getting to be, it's like they used to be able to kind of really lie to you, I guess. And you could kind of believe it. Where now you're just like, do you really expect me to believe that? Like what you're feeding me right now? Because I'm not believing it. Shoot, it's a scrap guy. Gonna save the world. There's that. That's it. Boy, I wish I had the headlamp. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, man, I should bring a headlamp. Plead the fifth. Uh, I mean, if that's not like a slap in your face, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? The fact that this guy, I just, it's just a clown show, man. It's absolute clown show what they're doing out there. Getting away with murder. We allow it. It's like they make it just good enough that you're not going to do something. And how would you? You'll just get you'll get conspiracy for trying to do something. What still gets me is how they're still doing the old flock systems. You know, they're talking about those cameras, and I just can't believe they're putting that on the media. It's like, are they doing it to be like, you know, are they doing it to be like, oh, see, you're winning. Oh, see, yeah, we tried, and you guys, yep, you guys are doing so good. You're knocking stuff down. So just, I don't know. Are they just like using that for like a whatever for a company? Just like, oh yeah, go ahead, try it. You know, go ahead and try put up your cameras everywhere. And yeah, you watch them get knocked down, and you'll have to figure out more technology to, you know, put a little drone on them to save them. So when people approach the little drones, you know, it's like a beehive. You know where the beehive is. You want to take the beehive out, but then you know, a little drone goes up, starts flying around, videoing you. You're gonna attack the beehive, start stinging you, shoots little things out. Mm. Oh man, another quiet night. At least we can start making room in here. Whew, that was bad. That was bad. Yeah, they believe we're all fools. Absolutely. I think that's just. Uh, I mean, that one guy. I forget what's the guy. The newer. He's a comedian. He's that one. He's like George Carlin, but George is gone. He talks a lot about some of the truth, I think. But I mean, it's weird, man. It is a weird society that we live in. And then you think about all the stuff that nobody, we just don't do anymore. You don't have people that live off the grid type stuff where they, think about how probably how much more the independent the farmer was back in the day compared to now. He's running older equipment. He bought his Lincoln welder. You know, fixed his own tractor, made his own cattle fence, did all these things. And now I was just watching a lady. I was going to send it to you, Rich. I don't know if she'll pop back up again, but she was talking about the food, and she was just going on a rant. So it was a funny rant about the food system. And I thought, yeah, like, what happened to our food? Why do we have to always worry about what's going on with it? I was like, oh yeah, I just seen this morning they were talking about something about plastic, I guess, being in the ice cream, which I mean, don't we have plastic and everything, and a bottle of water and everything. I thought it was just kind of funny though. Walkies. This was like a bag I put together for fittings, more fittings, more stuff. Oh yeah. Oh. You got any jobs lined up this week? Coming up week, Rich? Dang, we got 8 likes. How amazing! It's for control. They want to get rid of money. Everyone on, yeah, yeah. So we can shut them on and off. It is scary. It is scary about that whole. I mean, I can't tell you how many places I go around, and I always wonder if it made that big a difference. 'Cause I thought I heard Montana like placed a law that you have to accept cash, and I was thinking about it where you know I finally went to our restaurant down the road here, and I I've had this $100 bill that I hate even carrying $100 bills now because it's just like people. I mean, it's like they frown at you. They're like, what are we supposed to do with that? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, like cash it, use it for legal tender. Um, and I just can't tell you how many times, you know, I run into they won't do it. And it's like, it's just because it's a slow program where they're programming people to just like, you know, it's almost like a bad thing. It's like, it just blows my mind that you can bring $100 and somebody even questions like, oh my gosh, it's $100. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it's $100. You basically can't buy shit with it, So break the damn thing and let's go on, like. But it's like, oh, well, it could be counterfeit. It's this, it's that. It's oh, we can't break that. We don't have that in our till. We got lucky. I don't know where that grease came from, but so it's a real pain in the butt carrying, the bigger bills. I went down to what was it our what's that place called? Oh, is there a bun here? There is a bun here. Jimmy Jones. That's what it was. Jimmy Jones. Went down Jimmy John's. And I remember the day I go there. Now, mind you, I had a really bad day. And when I mean a bad day, I just mean like a hard day at work. You know how it is? Like you're just like, it's the end of the day. You don't know what the wife's gonna cook. You don't even know if she's home. You're just like, you know what? I want something and I want it now. So I go down there And I'm like not even in the zone. And I remember I hand the guy, and I bought a meal for like $34. Bought a big whatever, I don't know if it's a foot long or whatever they call it. Big drink, got whatever package deal. And the guy goes, I hand him a 50. You know? And the guy goes, he goes, he goes, we don't take a 50. And so, I got a pocket full of money. And so I told him, I go, I go, so I hand him the 50. And he goes, we don't take a 50. And I go, okay. I pull out and I go, what do you want? You want 100? And he go, oh no, we just can't take large bills. And I'm sitting there going, large bills. I'm sitting there and I go, the order's for $34. I hand you a 50. Now I understand if I go to the ice cream shop and I buy something for $1, $2, 50 seems a little overkill. Like it's hard to break that down or whatever. But my damn order's $34. And I'm getting so irritated with it, honestly, that I'm about ready to just start flipping on people. So like if I go somewhere and they're like, oh, we don't take a 50 or we can't do 100. I'm just going to tell them, I'm going to say, you know what? Make the order $100 then. You know what I mean? Give me some more food. Make the meal, do whatever you got to do, sprinkle a little fries here, a little hot dog here, a little hamburger here, a little drink here. Make it so it's $100. And I'll take it and I'll go feed the freaking seagulls somewhere. That's what I'm going to do. So that way they got to process. Now, could they just round it up and be jerks or something? Absolutely. But I'm going to get some more food. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to be a prick. I'm going to do like what I guess suppose my Uncle Ron did. Is what my dad told me, I think. That I'm just going to sit there in line. And after I already placed my order, and now I make him place me more order, I go, no, that's fine. Just go ahead and, here's my $100. Make me some more food. And they're going to go, oh, sir, okay. Okay. Well, could you pull ahead? And I'm going to be like, no. I'm going to wait right here until my food's. That's what crosses my mind. That's my junk drawer. My junk drawer bag. Yeah, a lot of places won't take them. I get it. I get it. I get it. But it should, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous, in my opinion, that this is where we've come to. Because, I was reading something, I think I was on Facebook or something, and they were talking about, how you're going to be, grandma giving you a little bit of money or something, a little cash in an envelope. Like that stuff's going to be gone. And I'm just like, people don't realize what they're doing by supporting these systems. I think I got everything out of here for this. The rest of it tidied up. Definitely livable now. It was so full. You couldn't even get in this bad boy. What is that? Is that the hammer drill? No, that's my hammer drill. Thought that was the DeWalt one. What's up with this door? What did it do? Just lock on me? Did I hit the... What the fudge? I guess I got the key. It was acting a little goofy earlier, but I thought it's because I had crap in the way. So maybe I hear the guys all the time talk about how they accidentally locked this door. Huh, maybe I hit that button. That's good. That's good. That's good. Perfect. Like a charm. Places won't, if it was a counterfeit money, I would do 5 and 10s. Yeah. I know a guy, and he worked here. Sometimes he's a little bit on the shady side, but I remember he supposedly got a counterfeit $100 bill from the bank. So, yeah, not good. But like I said, you got to you know, take him with a little grain of salt because he He was the guy that was he was taking openers out of here. He was taking used ones. Oh yeah, it's a spot. Little Snapple, kiwi. Ooh, it's a little bit more sugar than I want, but that's all right. But once you consider that theft, if somebody doesn't ask and they're taking used openers out of the scrap without asking, I'd consider that stealing. Leave, and they'll have to throw the order away. Hmm. I just leave. They have to throw the order. Never thought about that. It's not a bad idea. It's weird. It's just goofy. I've noticed it over the years in business. You'll have you can bring a big chunk of money in, and the banksters, you know, they'll take it, no problem, right? No questions, whatever. They'll take the money, right? But then you go there to pull out money. I've done it so many times over the years. Back in the day, you go to the bank, try to pull out, 4 grand, 5 grand, and it's like they look at you like you're a criminal, you know. And this was years ago, even. Even nowadays, you still do it. Still, and it's like just like with $100 bills. And I'm like, what world do you guys live in? Do you guys never go buy groceries? I mean, groceries are like two, three, four, six, $800, and it's like, and they act like $100 bill is some miracle. Like it's like, oh, we can't break that. So you go to the bank, you ask for 5 grand. Well, what's it for? The hell does it matter what's it for? I'm buying a used vehicle. Oh, we don't got that. We got to order that. Why you got that big vault in the back? Just for show? I guess to keep whatever in there. But it just, we got to order it. It's such a rigged system. It's like it makes you really understand how you're not in control. Nice printer, a whole dryer. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure, absolutely. So what do you got going this week, Rich? If you got any stuff, you got some openers or anything? Any man doors, screen doors? We're looking pretty good. We got our order filled with you with the Rich B. Like I said, Midland's trying to sneak in. Kind of got Andy's blessing. I didn't really hear much on Tanner. How's that bug? Because I thought Tanner was dealing Midland. I heard some people say they're good quality, whatever. They're definitely sounds like a step up from than Clopay, but they're more pricey, which is probably okay because we know we're going to spend more with Clopay in a sense, and people don't seem to bark too much when it's like a custom door. You know what I mean? They just kind of want it, but we still need our good old standbys. So those work pretty good. Those Rich B doors. Those are in the container now. And then I think what I'm going to do too is, I think Rich, you mentioned something about that Genie keypad. Um, the problem is, let me make sure I got this because the buggies are coming in. Oh, I gotta shut this door. Do 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 do. So that's like a good observation and everything. But that Genie, the problem is these are brand new. Uh, they're brand new keypads. Oh, I can see. I did lock the door. This door locked. I mean, I got the key though. Ooh. Ooh, I can see what those guys are talking about. That back door, locking himself out of the van. Not good. Not good. Shut this so I'm not dancing. Butamus. Oh, a door operator and some service. 2 landscape trailers. I didn't know you did the landscape trailers. My buddy down the road, they're not bad. It seemed like those ones, it's either that one or the truck ones. You got to use a little bit thinner bar, winding bar. But the problem is, he called me down there. I go down there, and it's like, how are we supposed to, how are we supposed to, like, kind of warranty this job? You know what I'm saying? So what it would be is like the whole back end, the whole struts, the enclosed trailers that this landscape company was using was in shambles. I mean, shambles, like literally a hole in the floor up front. And it's like, whoa, dude, like you sell enclosed trailers, like you should sell them a new trailer. Like this trailer's shot. So I remember, we'd get stuff on, but when you watch the thing rock, you're like, the cables are going to almost like pop off the way this thing rocks, sways in the wind down the road. And so, yeah. Do you go? I'm assuming, do you go to them, Rich? Or do they come to you? I'm assuming you go to their location to work on them. Hide a key. I'm sure you've seen this, Rich, or maybe you heard about it. I didn't even know this existed. I don't think we have a van here. Yeah, I think it was on an old Ford van that we had. But they had a cylinder in the fender. And I don't remember if I was buying it from a guy or how that worked out. But I remember I asked the guy, I was like, what is that cylinder for? I think that the cylinder part was missing, but the insert, and it might have a trailer plug size, like for a 6-way, 7-way. And I should fill up these jugs a little bit so they don't blow around the wind. And the guy goes, that's for the maintenance guys. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, that way they always have a key to that van. He says the maintenance guys just have all generic keys, that kind of like gate operator. And so there was a cylinder in the fender, and they could pull it out, and there was a key for that van. And I always thought, man, that's kind of a good idea. I mean, I don't know how helpful it would be for, um, if I did the right one. Nope, I didn't really. That's all right. Waste a little bit of city water. So I thought that cylinder was pretty cool. Now, I don't think that'd help you for a technician out in the field, because if he loses a key and then he doesn't have a key to open that cylinder, well, that's not going to help out too good, is it? But if it was like, he had to work on a vehicle, and then you could send a guy out there that has the key. So hideaway is good. But I like the idea. I guess the idea is that I like the fact that they're the key. You know where the key's at. You don't have to climb into the vehicle. It's right there. You just got to pull the cylinder out. But obviously, you don't want to make it easy enough for the boogeyman. But I didn't even know something like that existed. Because sometimes you give them to the guys, they hide them in different spots, and then they don't know if they're on vacation or something. They're not answering the phone, type of thing. A couple times thought we were going to get a big storm, but we never got a big storm around here. Today we had that sky that, what is it? Sailor's Delight or whatever. Red sky or something. Wasn't looking too good. I'm still trying to think of who did the water. This game. Let's got water in one more jug here. Check this out. Making a mess. I just hate using city water because you know how it is. They get you for sewer and there we go. There we go. There, those bad boys won't be blowing around now. Easy money. These are trap doors. Get almost as much as a garage door job site. Nice. Nice. Ours, for some reason, you know, so like it's like one of those things. Like I'm glad they work out. I would definitely do it if it was like we didn't have enough. Ooh, it's toasty. If we didn't have enough work, what in the Sam hell? It smells like garbage in here or something. Like somebody left food. Hmm. Oh, here's the guy right here. 5 to 6%. There you go. Midland. It's probably backwards though. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, the trailers. So the problem was for us was we get people that wanted to just, it's like they just want to show up. So they just want to show up and for us to fix it. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like you don't always have a technician available. I think it's this. I think there's Wendy's or something in here. I want to take that stuff out. You ever notice that fast food? Don't worry. Whoops. Froze up there for a second. Fast food just, man, stinks sometimes. Don't worry, Mike. Still taking out the garbage. Ooh. All right. 20, 30 minutes. Same size cones as garage doors. Box truck doors. Yeah, we did. I don't know. We just don't like doing them. I think it was one of those things that's kind of like you got to have somebody that really pays attention to detail. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But um, it's one of those things like I'm with you. I'm with you. You know what I mean? Like I think they're absolutely doable. You can make some money. It's just I guess they just never really worked good for us. We have to run down the road, and it was never like a heads up. It'd always be like, "Hey, can you come down now?" And it's like, "Yeah, I'm out of a service call. I could swing by. This. Well, they really want to get the trailer. Blah blah blah." And it seems because like for the landscape trailers, anyways, they always want to get them up and running right away. And then the box trucks, it was always kind of weird because sometimes they bring some pretty nice trucks, and it's like you have this truck sitting here, and it'd be like I'd always feel like it's my responsibility to make sure like nothing bad happened to it. So we'd have to make sure we park it up by the building, which is kind of in the way, and um, We'd have to almost have like two minimum two, almost two guys working on it. One might be outside, one two guys. In the ideal world is two guys inside, one guy outside. So if you got to lift the door up a little bit, feed you parts. So those were always kind of goofy. If it's like you never knew if you like fixed it. You fix it, but you're like, why did it fail in the first place? And sometimes when you have the little brackets and stuff, the little keys or whatever, the swedges or something on the outside. So it was a little bit different animal. We just couldn't really make it click. So we tried to stay away from them. Don't do roll up those box trucks. Oh, time's at 10. Maybe we'll go over to about 10:30 or so, and maybe it's time to go find a bed to snuggle up in. It's tomorrow Sunday. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler, which is nice. Almost time to get up to the property. We've been so busy, haven't been able to make it up there. We've had to hire a guy for cutting grass, which has been a really good thing because it's been just busy. Gonna have to learn more Spanish. Hey, you know what? I mean, it's if they're willing to pay, um, mm, you know, you might as well do it. I don't know if it's because like we kind of rejected maybe a couple and that just kind of spread out, but we really don't get many calls. Or I don't know if the girls are just telling them we just don't do it. You know what I mean? I'm not real sure. But I just remember we'd get some box trucks. We do some box trucks. We do, we did like, so the one is, like, I always remember that landscape company, their stuff was in shambles. And it was always like, dude, like, I mean, brackets are almost falling off the wall. And it's like, you're just like, how far do I go? Like, I really need to bring a welder in here. And I gotta put a gusset in here. I gotta put this plate back up here. Like, dude, you're gonna be like, whatever, five, 1,200, $2,400 to really make this back to what it should be and it's like, just get the cable back on. It worked fine before. And it's just like, okay, like, you do a few things. And you're like, you could have probably done that. It's going to be this much for a service call or whatever. Do-do-do-do. Cash is king. That's true. That is very true. That is true. That's like I said, it's not a bad gig. I mean, like I said, if I was a one man band and I was looking like I think of like cousin Evan or somebody like that or somebody starting out, I would I would definitely entertain it. You know what I mean? Like it's if you're trying to fill the books, absolutely. I think I would. It's kind of weird. Like I've noticed like even like with Cap, he's been he's kind of running into the same boat because he says sometimes he's like I understand it now because um if I commit to certain things, basically only I can do it. And I kind of gotta watch that. And I said, yeah, that's like when we were doing we had one of our guys competition I seen. He was down working at this uh oil change place that we used to work for, and they changed ownership and they've really just we're just not a good fit anymore. And I seen him working down there and I was just like good for you. Like let that like you work for them. Like we're above that now. Like we don't want to work for them anymore. They're too much headache. They don't want to pay our prices. They don't want to. The guy calls one time complaining about how we bill because we bill individually for a service, and he just wants one bill. And it's like, And I think Cap talked to him and resolved that. Said I can make that happen. I like to bill for what service calls were done, so you can kind of see. And and the guy kind of acted all fluffy about it. And that's how it goes in the business. Sometimes you get these guys that are, they might have like a field manager type guy, but then they have like the bean counter is what I call it. And the bean counter could care less. He just looks at numbers and he doesn't respect the people out in the workforce. They just are just like, you're nobody. We'll hire the next chump that'll do it. And I particularly do not like to work for people like that. So I've told them numerous times, I said, I wouldn't even work for them. Well, if they want to call and they want to pay our service, whatever, I'll take care of it. You know what? That's probably a good attitude to have. But for me, I wouldn't. I said I'm more of a. I like the loyalty of good people. I like to not have to worry about are you going to pay this bill, type of thing. I like the guys I've worked for that always were, Dave, I trust you. Just get it done. Send me the bill. Okay, not a problem. Uh, yeah, it's great. Yeah, yeah. It was a bummer with that guy because he had like five locations. And he's the one I've talked about in the channel where he called me up at nighttime. I think I was out cutting grass or something. And he's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I'm like, I'm selling the business." And I'm like, "I get it." And he's like, "I think it was really affecting his health." And so he just was like, he's like, I can't do it anymore. And I thought it was sad because it shows the times that, and he was like the third generation. So it wasn't like he just came from scratch. And I just thought, that to me, it just felt like just my personal, I don't know for sure. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but it felt like the work ethic of people is getting so bad that he just is like, I'm over it. I'm over the people that want to work here. I'm over the industry. I'm just over like everything against you. And I was just like, that's pretty sad. Um, and of course, that's when I had a panic attack because that's when I was at the helm of the ship. And then it's like, he's, and all of a sudden it's like, laying in bed, and all of a sudden you're just getting ready, and all of a sudden you just have that like brain explosion. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot if he's selling that location first. We got like an $8,000 door that's supposed to go up there. Like he needs to pay that. Like it's a special order door, full glass, whatever. Oh my gosh, I gotta call him. He's not gonna be happy about this, but I'm not gonna wait and then try to put it on the next owner because the next owner, what are they gonna do? I didn't approve that. I did not approve that. Oh, fudge. So I had to call him and I'm like, hey man, remember that door you approved that you ordered? And of course, I've never make this guy ever pay half down. We've had such a long business relationship. I would never make him pay. He was that guy that, hey, I trust you, take care of it. I sent him a bill. He always paid it. And now here I am going, oh my gosh. I didn't get half down and we're screwed. If we got to hang on to the store, like we're gonna be selling it at a yard sale. So yeah, luckily he took care of that one. The next one wasn't so easy. He was a little bit ahead of us. We had stuff on order and he sold the other one. We were trying to explain what I expected, but that one wasn't such a big hit. That was more like a $1,200 sections door, whatever it was. And I think they finally got it, but boy, it was like yanking teeth. And then now you go to this place and it's like there's not even one decision maker. It's like, who's in charge? The people that work there are like, I don't know. Johnny, Carol, Hank, Bobby, Willie. You know, like you're just like, okay, who do I talk to? Well, you can try talking to him and you talk, oh, it's not my department. And it's like, oh, when you got to go down to something that's so silly. Like I remember they broke a window, they call, and I think it's like on a Friday, and I'm just like, are you really going to go to that? Like, I was like, he's like, he goes down, tells me that I guess supposedly two employees were fighting. So one chucked a wrench or something through the window. Then he gets there and he's like, you really want me to fix this? He says, you can just go get a piece of glass made at the glass company down the road. And the guy was like, you know, and he goes, I don't have nothing to fix it right now. He goes, all I'm going to do, he says, put a piece of cardboard over it. And the guy says, he goes, he goes, No, he goes, that's fine. He goes, I want you to fix it. He says, because he goes, we don't have no cardboard. And oil change places don't have cardboard. Come on, man. They deal with boxes, everything. So, anyways, he tapes it up. We ordered the window. I think they even got the window fixed before we showed back up with the window. It was, it's like, what are we supposed to charge? Like, it's a silliness. Is it Dune? Says hi, hello. All right. Thank you guys too so much. We got 8 likes for the night. It was a quiet night. I don't know if there's something going on tonight for sports or the WAR or uh, what's going on? Olympics? I'm missing. Football starting back up. What's on for sports? Is anything on for sports right now? Richard's got to be something. It's pretty quiet. Maybe everybody's out by the campfire. Now that would be good. Watching the stars. Maybe having a. Which one's Tanner like? Chorus? I think he's their chorus guy. Is he chorus guy? Oh, preseason. And PT, he's got to be out probably. He's probably out still working on a spring somewhere. But I think he said he's phasing out a little bit. That'll be interesting. But maybe we'll see him down in Florida. Ooh. While it's up here blowing snow and he'll be down there in the pool. Probably has to be heated, but he won't have so many snowflakes, which would be nice. Yeah, I watched some video on yours down there, Rich. They got the water resided a little bit, and I don't know what the map's showing now for how many people are still without power. I get little blitz here and there. I'm talking about these people aren't happy. This is going on. Blah blah blah. So I'm sure. I'm sure. It was kind of a bummer. I forget where it was. I just watched that one and I thought I was 50-50 about the guy that well they you might have seen it too. The contractor, I think he shut the lady's generator off and then her basement flooded. And she was trying so hard to keep it not from flooding and that contractor and I thought, he probably thought maybe he was turning, because then I started thinking about it. I thought, he might have thought he was turning the generator off. Well, there was two things. One, I thought he turned the generator off so it wasn't backfeeding into their power and they were going to get zapped. Second was, I thought, he might have been doing it just to be nice. Like, hey, I'll shut your generator off, save your gas. You don't need to let it run anymore because the power's back on. But definitely a learning experience. Don't mess with another person's operation. If their generator's running, let it run. That's their responsibility, whatever. I don't know if those guys have a way to test if they're getting back feed before they hook something up so don't blow, but yeah, I'm sure they can't really do each house. It just is what it is. That's on your fuse panel, your insurance if you know, that's what I was thinking too, back feeding the grid. I know that's kind of a big thing. And I know there's probably not a lot of people that are smart enough to know not to do that. But I started watching that video, and then that lady said she was really upset and her basement flooded. And I thought I could understand that whole situation, and I was at first kind of upset at the contract. Why would he do that? And I thought, there's a lot of different reasons. Backfeed, maybe he thought, hey, I'm just shutting it off because you don't need it running. We got power back on for you. But regardless, you know, I guess shouldn't the smart meters be able to solve that? You know, they shouldn't be backfeeding, right? They should be able to tell you on the meter. It's so smart. Is this thing sending power out by any sort, right? They need to make those smart meters so smart. I'm still waiting for my smart meter to be like my gas pump. I don't understand why my smart meter can't be as smart as my gas pump. I don't understand why I can't go out there. They reset it, go, oh, we took your numbers, reset it, and then I look back at it and I go, holy crap, I'm already at $60. Better slow her down. No, I just got this weird gibberish in kilowatts, and then I got to try to calculate and all this when it could just be sitting there telling me, where's my app? Do they got an app yet? Does anybody? You got an app, Rich? They should have an app that tells you. It's like showing like a fuel gauge. You know what I mean? You click on it, you're like, holy cow, we're using 50 cents a minute right now. You know, kids, turn the fans off. Yeah, I'm sure it can. I'm sure it can. But like the lady said, if there was somebody on life support, oxygen, you don't know. You know what I mean? So I thought, I guess if they can go up and meter it, if they had to, like, hey, we're not touching that. But I think the company was good enough though. They ended up paying for to get the repairs done. So that was really nice of them. I was glad to hear that the company supposedly was taking care of the I think the flood situation, which I don't know if they're doing like drywall and all that, electronics, but I just thought that was at least kind of nice of them. Oh, you do have that? Have that on electric? You got like a meter and stuff? That's kind of cool. I don't think ours does that. We just get a bill and it automatically gets taken out, I think. Steven's in the house. What's up, Steven? What's new? What's new in the world? Tell us something new. Guys are starting to wake up a little bit. Anything good? Anything bad? I think I'm gonna have the Wifatron try to order that new. Supposedly, somebody commented and said that Genie has a new keypad out. It doesn't look very sexy, but if it works better, I'm okay with that. I'm hoping it has. It'd be great. I don't know if they can do that. Genie just doesn't have built in, but I liked that it said it's something that says it can go back to basically 1995, and I thought, good job, Genie. And I was hoping maybe they had the button I could push that would actually shut it automatically without punching the numbers. I don't know if that's possible. Yeah, they didn't want no more bad PR. That's what I kind of thought. I kind of thought that too. So, you know, that's good. That's good. Good for them. You know what I mean? Oh, let's see if we can plug this in for a second here. There we go. We get a little bit of juice. Yeah, so I was kind of happy. Like I said, we'll see if Genie. That's one thing that's nice about Genie, though. Genie openers is that they all their stuff goes back to like 1995. So it doesn't feel like they're trying to force you, like LiftMaster. Like, oh, we got this new program, nothing to link back up to it. So now you got to buy all new remotes for our new stuff. Ha 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 ha. We got you. Um, 6161. Yeah, waiting for it to cool down. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think it's gonna come. I'm not really. We kind of got our. I felt like we kind of got our ass spanked um, last winter. So I'm not really sure which way we'll go with it. What's up, Burke? How you been? So we're supposed to have a guy that's supposed to do the approach on the driveway. I don't know how 10, 20 feet, whatever. You know what I mean? Because when you come in and out, it's really rough. It's all shaggy. So they're supposed to put some new asphalt down in that area, which I'm sure will be really nice for the plow guy and really nice for the guys when they take off. Because right now it's like when you're trying to get on the road. So they're supposed to do that. And then our mailbox, we got behind on the mailbox, and we had like 2 feet of ice where the mailbox was because we both kind of share the same mailbox, or not same, but they're both in the same location for the neighbor guy. And so I got the snowblower, I think the Power Smart or something like that, or is it Power Smart or Smart Power? Anyways, from Amazon. Been working just fine. You know what I mean? So it was kind of nice. I got some stuff cleared out. So when the plow guy, because he does his thing, but he can't get between the trucks or the vans. So I tried to tidy up, but winter was kind of a bear. So it'd be kind of nice. It's like, are you better off getting an old plow truck? Thing is I'm a plow snob. You know what I mean? Like, I've had back blades, and so you get a plow truck. It's like you got to have a back blade. You know what I mean? And the Arctic was my favorite back blade. I love that it float. I like the down pressure of it. So, but the problem is, you know how it is. If you get an old plow truck, well, you still keep your plow guy. You just use it for cleaning up little areas. Now you got brake lines that rust. You got fuel lines. You got mice infestation. You got something that takes up space at the property in a sense. Or do you try to look for like a skidster But you probably almost want to go gasoline if you're going to go older, because you know the diesel is not going to like if it's sitting outside to start in the cold, like an old farm tractor. Not real sure. Not real sure. Plow truck worked pretty good. You could drag it out. Nice thing if you have a skid steer, if you have a decent sized one or whatever, you can move snow piles, which is kind of nice if you get crazy, because sometimes it does get crazy. So I'm a little bit leery about the cold weather. I do like fall, but I like the cold and all that. That's fine. I hate the snow. That's like the one guy always told me. He says, you know, one thing about sunshine, I never have to shovel it, but that damn snow, you got to shovel it. It's a slip and slide, and it's heavy. So I'm not real sure. In the perfect world, it would be nice if you could just buy a brand new truck that could be your service truck, but it can't hold the stuff like the van can. So that never works. And you just have your service truck do it all. But I've been down that road, and you have to put so much stuff on the truck and take so much stuff off the truck. And it's normally not very realistic. What of damage they had to rebuild the grid feeds to substations. There are areas that it looks like it was clear cut. Wow. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I'm waiting for when we're gonna get our lickings. I mean, we did 1 year. We had some straight inline winds, and they knocked a lot of trees. That was a pretty big storm. But I tell you what, it's almost like this is just my weird assumption and opinion. But it seems like as we get the world gets a little stranger, it's like I normally just check the radar myself, and I will listen to meteorologists sometimes a little bit here and there, but it's like I kind of make my own assumption. I feel like I've been around the rock a few times. Um, that and then it's like weird how it's like when they tell you it's not normally that bad of a storm, oh, we're just looking out this, it turned into be a hell of a storm. And then it's like when they tell you it's going to be a hell of a storm, it doesn't really turn out to be that bad a storm. They're like, oh, we're worried about winds, so you get everything hunkered down, and it's like it's just as calm as can be. You're like, where's the wind? There's no wind. So it's just it's almost like the stock market, right? You just don't know. Gas prices, everything's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Where it used to be a lot more gradual, little penny here, little 10 cents here. Now everything's like up $2, down $2. Stock market's up 1,000 points, down 1,000 points. The weather feels like it follows the same thing, where it's kind of like now it's not like just like, oh, a normal storm with thunder and just a normal ease of just a storm. Now it's rapid fire, or just it's just weird. You feel it in the bones. What is that? The one they use for the pressure. You know what I mean? I know. I ended up. I took a nap today, and I woke up and we had the reddest sky. It was like you're like I was like, holy crap! I think a bomb went off. It's like plumed, or it was looked a lot like when we had the fire smoke. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, damn, like man, that's really smoky or something. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's red skies. And then next thing I know, a boom! Yeah, holy shit! Must be a lightning storm or something. I thought we got a pop up thunderstorm. So I popped up because I knew I had a vehicle opened up. Luckily, one of the kiddos already had it closed up for me, so I was yelling, and it didn't even really rain that hard, just sprinkled. But I guess they got to see a rainbow out of it, so that was pretty cool. But it's pretty eerie. Daughter texted 10 minutes before it hit. She was working. Yep. Isn't that kind of crazy? I mean, that's awesome that she did that, but like they just you know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know. I guess I understand it's the weather. You know what I mean? We don't know how stuff swoops and comes together, but it's just sometimes it's like I just feel like a lot of times when I'm watching it, sometimes I'll hear them. It's like It's almost like they're, I don't know if there's something behind this. It's just a weird theory that I have that they got to hype up things. 'Cause I even noticed like on the YouTube, um, they'll show like a storm, like the meteorologist, and it'll be like 15 minutes ago or 53 minutes ago. And I'm like, are we supposed to get rain? Like, oh, so I click on it. They start watching it and they're like, oh, this is something like tonight. And I'm just like, I think you clickbait me. You know what I mean? Like that little storm is nothing. I thought there was a lot more storms behind it. That's but if you just sit there and be like sunny shine skies and just perfectness, like I'm just like, oh, just gonna be normal. But oh, there's a storm coming. Badness. I need to watch. So that's just my weird conspiracy. I just like I said, who knows? The weather's always rapidly changing. It just seems like stuff's getting more extreme than I remember when I was a kid. And I talked to somebody that was older than me, and they were kind of saying the same thing. Like he said, he said the only thing he remembers is I remember bad snowstorms. He said, but not this weird, weather and the fires and so much kind of weird stuff. Mhm. Yeah, that's what it is. Yep. Red sky in the morning, sailor's morning. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I was sitting there looking at it. And I'm like, man, it looked like Terminator type stuff. I was just like, it's like I was almost like doing the like, am I alive? I think I passed away in my sleep. Like I'm sitting there and I'm just like, wow, it's really quiet. And also I had that big boom. I'm like, holy crap, that's a thunderstorm. I was like, something's going on. So time to batten down the hatches. Seems like we've been getting little schnookers like that. Um, yeah, she works for, yeah, I know she works for one of the weather stations or whatever, the NWS. Steven, what have things what things how have things been feeling for you? Or Burke, if you're still here, what have you been feeling? Is the economy kind of slugging? Is it like you kind of feel like you're slammed? You got a lot of work, a lot of, you know, I'm kind of trying to get a little bit of feel on things, and boy, inflation's got to be kicking people's butt. I mean, I know it ain't making me feel a lot better. Our diesel is sitting right about in places, some places right around here, we got about 570, 579. So basically 580 a gallon, and that's going to take the food and everything else up with it. And then, I don't think I haven't heard too much through the grapevines, if any price increases on doors or fencing or metal, but I would have no doubt that is coming, especially with some of the stuff going on with the straits. So I'm sure it's coming. I gotta find a video on how they got those reserves. Suppose they're in like some cave or something. They're underground. What do they do? Just put like a bladder down on that thing? Then how do you like rotate that stuff? They got like an inlet and outlet. They're putting like this big rock for the gas reserves. Makes me wonder where are they even located. NWS. How long has she been doing it, Rich? She been working for the weather. I always wonder if she does she like it. Sometimes you get into those stuff. And it wasn't maybe it's a little more. Well, heck, I mean, for us around here, we got this Fox 17. They just got rid of like what was it, 670 employees or something. They're doing. I was trying to even find one of their things on YouTube or something, and I couldn't even find. Like it was almost like I was like, are they doing the weather anymore? It was like stuff was like months old, and so I think I had to go to our other station, which is WZZM, and I found some of their stuff, or at least one of theirs populated where it showed up for me. But and then our one guy, Kevin, I forget what his name is. Kevin, he was doing it for 20 some years, and I think he just got they slashed him. So I think he's kind of doing. I've been watching a lot of meteorologists going out doing their own, which is good. So I think they should, while they're on the air, be promoting big time. You know what I mean? Hey, follow me on Facebook if they can. I'm sure there's only certain things they can say on TV, but I'll see a lot of them on Facebook, and if some of them resonate. I'll watch their content, or I trust them or believe in them. And so, like with Kevin, the one guy that got whacked, he he's doing his own thing, and he's always doing like he's walking around the track or something, and he always does like nice little things, like the thought of the day type thing. Appreciate the day, and it's a blessing and all this kind of stuff. He's always got good little things, which is good. I'm glad he's you know, but now he's pretty much on his own. He's kind of pretty close to retirement if he's not already there. But it's just weird how things change. Oh, with a private forecasting company. Nice, nice. She's been doing it a while. Like you said, try to get a following. That's the big thing, especially because then we had one meteorologist. Who was that one? She was over here in Grand Rapids. What was her name? Devosny? Devos? DeBoer? I can't remember her name. I think she's running for something to do with the politics. I don't know if she won or not. I can't remember. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, that was a meteorologist lady. She kind of bounced around, I think, a few times. Now she's going for politics. What's Steven got? Seems like it's real even keel down here. Live in a retirement community down here, so there's subject to ups and downs. It's interesting you say that. We got I think it's called the Canadian Lakes, and it's if you think about like what a state park is kind of like, if they got like the stakes and they got the numbers on, this place reminds me of a really big state park. And it's like when you go up there, I never knew there. We get calls up there when we were doing stuff through Lowe's, and I'd go up there, and I was always like, man, I was like, what's up with this area? Like it just felt weird, like it just felt like a different world, like it's its own little community. And then I remember there'd be like deer in the front yard, and the deer were like not spooked or anything, and I was just like, this is really weird. Like, what's going on around here? You guys aren't going to eat me, are you? And everybody was pretty nice, but I always thought, that would be the place either like you move to or something, and you would take care of that surrounding area, and you could build a little network, and you might do pretty good in that area. It's a little bit far of a reach for us to go out there, but kind of that retirement community that just seemed like they just need a good old boy, they need a Tony or a Rich B, you know what I mean? Just, hey, you call that guy, yeah, he does a good job, he's a straight shooter. Um, but like I said, it's just a little bit on a stretch for us to get out there. Uh, oh, Ginger Z, I'll be there. That's cool. How cool is that? Well, that's good, man. That's good for her. You know what I mean? That's awesome. No, that's real good. Like I said, hopefully she keep it going. Hope everything works out. The Kevin, he had a really I think it kind of reminded me a little bit of I don't know. It was a sad story. He's talking about, I think he was just kind of saying, he can't keep up with the 20-year-olds. And I think he was trying to explain, like, basically I think they really wanted to either cut his pay. Um and they got rid of a lot of people. And it was just one of those things that sometimes it just kind of breaks your heart that you're thinking, man, this guy devoted himself, and he actually got some health issues because I mean, he gets up at like some weird hours. I think he gets up at midnight or 3 in the morning to start his day, to be there at 6 to do, or be there at 5 or whatever. And I thought what was really cool about what he did is he'd do behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes, he show him going into the office. He shows, he's doing the recording for the radio station, and then he shows what he does next. He's got a plan, and he's got to map out how that, And it's just like you realize that, wow, these guys do a lot. They're not just on a screen talking about something and then they're done for the day, sitting in the back drinking coffee. And I just thought that was he had a very long wrote out thing, and you could tell it wasn't a hard jab for anything, but it was just you could tell it was very. This guy got kind of screwed. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like the new corporation, they got bought out by another company, and this guy just got whacked. You know what I mean? And it's just like, man, that's hard. Dang, it's a gated community with about 6,000 houses. I'll have to check what Canadian Lakes is. I doubt. I don't think there's 6,000. There's probably, if I had to guess, maybe about 1,000, maybe 1,000 in that community. If I just had to guess, it always makes me wonder. They used to be a place up there. I don't think they're around anymore. It's called Ed's Garage. I kind of heard some bad things about Ed's through some vendors. So he was not quite a straight shooter. Um, so that's interesting. Who says hello? Hello, by the way. Is it 90, 98, 84? So yeah. So but that's not bad, man. 6,000 in a gated community. Wow. Wow. Do you know if you pretty much dominate that area, or is it pretty much like, still other people kind of come in and out, but you kind of got three quarters or half, or how does that kind of work? Got your own sign right there by the gate. This is exclusively XYZ Garage Door Company's territory. Stay away. They have to use me because I'm part of the Home Owners Association, HOA. Now, I've been noticing residential, the service calls that I looked on. I might have been looking it up a little. You know how you can look up different ways through like Google, but definitely got to move up on the Google ads. Got kicked. We get kicked by A1. You get kicked by M&M. There's another one. I forget, but obviously I don't know what they're pumping for money wise. But holy cow, you know what I mean? Like they're sponsored. Just it's crazy how times have changed. It used to be really more organic. Now it's turned into just you pay for your spot. I guess you know what I mean. I'm here. I'm pretty big deal on next door. It works out good. Sometimes when you can find like niches that work good, they're good, man. They're good. You know what I mean? It's kind of like with us. That's why everybody's demographics is different. How they work things because for us, like I said, it works like the commercial works really good for us around in our area. The residential, it's okay. We could probably do more on pushing more residential if we could work more on the ad side of it. We haven't done that for a long time. They were getting close. They were getting close, and then they got slammed. Was that the villages? Villages? Yeah, but once you can find a little niche, that's not bad though. You know what I mean? You gotta find what works good for you and your department. That's just like like cousin Evan, he'll learn as he goes. He'll start realizing if he wants to do more commercial, bigger stuff, or he wants to stay back with residential, or maybe he wants to eventually distribute down the road. It's hard to say. It's hard to say which way you want to go. It just takes time. If you can kind of move slow at it, take care of the customer, and be a man or woman of your word, and take care of the customer. That's the big thing. And then you just slowly keep creeping up. We were talking about a scissor lift, and we were thinking. I think we are still going to probably rent one, but I was talking to one of the guys, and I was saying about the scissor lift that we currently use. I said, I don't hear anybody ever complain about it. I said, I never hear anybody say, that lift was too big. So I said, honestly, I said, because we really need two lifts here at all times. We constantly want to be out on a job, and we get another service call or whatever. And I said, realistically, we shouldn't go smaller lift. I said we should either go the same size or a little bit bigger. because now we're grown. We're getting to the point where we got some customers now that we got such big doors that we're we're maxed out on our lift, so we could use a little bit bigger, a little wider might be nicer too. I don't do any advertising. I hide from work. I'm too busy. I get that. I totally get that. It's like that. It reminds me of like when you know, people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, what about this? What about this?" And I'm like, "Time out, time out." I'm like, just call the secretary. I'm like, call the secretary. Just don't put that in my plate. Sure looks good on you. Oh, thanks. Thinking about hunting season. That's what I was thinking about. Plus, I was working today, so when you got kids and vehicles and doing yard stuff, this just works great. You don't have to. You put a white shirt on, it ain't gonna last. It'll be never fails. I put a high vis on today. I crawled under a vehicle for 1 second. I swear I didn't touch nothing. I swear. I come out and I got a streak down the side, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Never fails. But that's a good problem. Like I said, don't have to. Do you got labels on your truck, Steven? Do you got labels on your truck though? What is? Oh, is that Insta? That's my Instagram. Oh, unfortunately, I don't really. I might have an Instagram account, but I don't know how to use it. One of you guys should move down here and take over for me. Steven, how old are you? I'm just curious. What do you think? What do you think you get out of that community? You go outside the community, I'm assuming too. What do you think? You get like one service call a day, two. A lot of people. What do you see with 6,000 in a community like that? A small fit through Mandor. It's really weird. I'm glad you brought that up, Rich, because it's like we, and maybe it's because I'm not always, you know, I'm like not always in the field, but like I can't remember. I think I talked to Cap one time. He did it. So like that's why that one lift. I think the one lift can do it that we currently have. You might have to break down the basket, but it's really weird that like we don't come across that very often. And I remember when I was first starting out, that was like a big thing. That was a big thing because I did use one time. I used a bucket truck, and that didn't work worth a hoot. You know what I mean? That was like this thing's stupid. Like you got to jack the door up with a come along, then you got to get the truck in here, and then the only thing it worked good for was a slope. If you had a slope, a ramp. But I remember it was yeah, it was yeah. I remember it was when I got the one through the rental company because it's kind of fun thinking about this because you don't think about it that often anymore. That stuff's old. It's kind of old news. But I remember when I was renting the one from the rental company, I just used it so much I felt comfortable with it, and it's one of those things. Like now I understand why, like when people call you about garage doors or maybe HVAC or washers and dryers, whatever it is, like they could be totally clueless. And at the time, like when it comes to a scissor lift, I was totally clueless. Like I had no clue how they worked. I had no idea what to buy. And all I knew was I was using the one from the rental company a lot. So I walked in there. I told the guys, like, hey, I was like, would you ever want to sell this? Because I just knew it worked. You know what I mean? Like and we didn't really have a lot of research back then. We couldn't really just watch YouTube videos. That wasn't really a thing. So I had no clue. And he's like, yeah, he's like, we're always looking to upgrade. And I remember that one fit through Mandors. And it seemed like I went through quite a few Mandors back then. But I don't understand why we don't go through so many Mandors now. Like it's like I don't. Like I think about, I go, okay, we got some DPWs. I guess they have multiple doors. Fire department, multiple doors. A couple logistic companies that I can think of right off the top of my head, multiple doors. The ground level door, I guess, could get you in a pinch because what do they got? But I think they got three ground level doors on that place, so you have to drive farther. They got a lift in there that we can use sometimes, and I don't know if it's just because we're most time dedicated to certain customers that we don't get a lot of because commercially you don't really, we kind of got, sometimes between half to three quarters of what's around here. So we don't really get a lot of new that's like surprise. It's kind of like we're just in a niche with those certain companies, I guess. I don't know how to explain that. It's kind of weird. And I just can't remember. I can't think of a time right now where I'm just kind of going, we were screwed, man. If we couldn't have got through there. I think I might have my ear set might be dying on me. 65 help. I get it, man. I get it. Steven, do you use a Surewinder? I'm just curious. 65, you still old school, man, using the bars. One in Indiana, down there by Papa Tony. Most stores should be 36. Right. Right, right. Wow, 25,000 still without power. I'd like to know if we have any companies down there helping from up in Michigan. I know you said what, Florida, Michigan. I wonder if like Newkirk is down there at all. Um, Consumers, man, what an operation! I can only imagine. I'd love to be I don't know, a bird or something. You know what I mean? To fly around, and see what those guys are, what they're doing for their lunch and what they got for little, are they shacked up in tents or their trailers and their showers, and are they staying in hotels, and what are they doing to accommodate, and the conversations that are going on, with we're not gonna get bus 23 online because we ain't got the sub transformer, whatever. So we gotta wait for that to come in. Then we're gonna go over here. We got trees and wow. Oh yeah, he says sure winder. Always nice, nice. Definitely helps. Gotta help on those shoulders. You know what I mean? Definitely a way to go. We just gotta order one. I keep thinking I'm like I'm gonna find one at a discount for a couple $100. Just a couple $100. Just order the damn thing. The East Coast. Wow. Hey, it's one of those things. I guess I'd love to just know what those guys are even getting paid. Stipe money, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, what are they? And hey, you know what? God bless them for doing that stuff. Being away from their family and all that. That's tough, man. That's tough. You know what I mean? So I mean, it just takes a hell of a crew of people to do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So a lot of hands hopefully makes light work, but still 25,000. Wow, what a hell of a storm. That's just crazy. Just shows you, man, just how quick. You know what I mean? So I guess that's a good reason why we all got to somewhat be prepared, right? Have a little stash of food, maybe a generator, a little gasoline, because you just like that, boom. You know what I mean? You're done. It's always a it's always a good wake up call. We definitely take it for granted. I do the same thing. It's just like when you're out of power, right? What do? You're always going to every room, flipping light switch. Oh, fudge! Yeah, light doesn't work. Mm. Oh, 250, 306. Wow. Wow. 306, man, on Rezzies. Holy cow. I mean, the highest we normally go for Rezzy is 273. So yeah, you're dealing with heck yeah, man. Like you said, you got hurricane doors from over 400 plus thousand. Wow. Wow. Do you think Rich did I mean, I'm assuming it has, and obviously, I know you can't see it all. But do you think that storm? Because I don't know how far, like if it's 20 miles south of you, or how that um, but has it created a lot of? Do you think garage door work? Have you heard anything? People trying to, you know what I mean? Like I remember when we have storms, it's kind of like how do I say this? It's kind of like when we have trees. Like we have a storm. I called like three different tree companies, and of course it's like you're a nobody. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you call us now because you got a tree down. Let me guess, right from the storm. Well, we got 500 people that have called today, and we're going to our prime customers or get on the list. And I remember like everyone, none of them ever called back. Even we tell them whatever the situation. Hey, we got a tree down. Can we, So guess who had to get out there with the old chainsaw, take care of business, which is understandable. But I just wondered if you start seeing it spread out where people are getting their power, so there's boards being zapped, or you're like, yeah, this is probably part of the storm damage. 18 by 8. It's about 520 pounds. Holy cow, man. That's a guillotine. Don't let that thing break, man. It'll come down and kill you. Yeah, tree damage, dented sections. Yeah, I just wondered if brownouts, them turning the power back on. I used to get always excited. You know what I mean? I don't really hear it probably because I don't answer the phones anymore. But we would, it was like when we have a storm that night, pretty bad storm. I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, oh boy. Like I'd almost plan for the next day to not have too much scheduled because I knew we were gonna get like we get like two or three. And most time it was people that pulled the disconnect and they call and and we're so busy that was like, they're like, it's running, but it's not moving. Okay, we'll get somebody out there. You go out there, and it's like you're watching the trolley, okay, you know, pull the disconnect, pops in, kunk, there you go. Now, I think the better thing to do nowadays is because you obviously can't just drive around everywhere for free. Hey, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to do a preventative maintenance. I'm going to charge you a service call, and then go through, maybe pull the cover off, blow the snowflakes out of it, check out the gear, wipe a little grease on the gear if it's got one of the old school ones, whatever. You know what I mean? Then everybody's happy. You know what I mean? But because I used to do it too. I'd go out there, and if it's an old lady or something, sometimes I still will. You're all set. But for the most part, it's like, hey, you know what? With nowadays, with all this technology, you could have Googled it. AI probably would have told you what to do. You could YouTube it. Yeah, gas isn't free. Insurance, I'm missing out on other jobs right now that I could be doing that are producing money. Thought he's from Carolina there. 5% says we won't be lasting long here, guys. We're losing power. Guess nap wasn't long enough. I think he's from Carolina. Uh, what is this one? Let me see if I can click on it. No, that's I don't know what that means. We'll see. Reprogram. If you farm thinking that the power's been off for so long. Have you been noticing which ones you got to program? Has there been a trend? Have you noticed, Rich? Has it been like genies or has it been LiftMaster that seem like they're losing it? Is it or is it just kind of just doesn't matter? It seems like all of them. Do, do, do. Damage to our doors are mainly from people backing into them. I was kind of thinking that. Steven, I'm glad you brought that up because I was kind of thinking. I thought, I bet you get kind of old people just oopsies, you know, ran into it. Wasn't thinking, wasn't paying attention. North Carolina. What's the pros and cons? I always, North Carolina was one of those states I always thought about moving to, because then you're not too far south where you're, super tropic. I always thought that North Carolina, South Carolina was always kind of a good mix. I've heard good things about North Carolina. Um, so maybe Steven can tell us if there's any pitfalls. 4%. We're losing airtime. We'll probably cut her off about that time. The audio gets kind of squirrely on this phone if we don't have our air things in. Okay, all the ones without mechanical limits. Imagine that. Imagine that. That's why I always like those ATS, those old ATS LiftMasters. LiftMaster got rid of all the mechanical limits. I still had the old ATS, and I was installing them for the Amish because I just I knew I'd set it and I'd forget it. You know what I mean? Because they're like, well, we don't know when power is going to be here, and they're way out in the boonies. I was like, I don't want to come back to this, so I would get everything set from a power pack, or I think I was doing it from a generator. Even though LiftMaster tells you not to, I was doing it. I got everything set with the mechanical limits. Everything was great. I'd stick the old um, remotes or whatever to the disconnect. Maybe shove the manual in a Ziploc or something, zip tie it up to the perforated angle, and see you later, alligator. Duramax a day, 530 gallons. Oh man, oh man, something in 3 days. What's up, Mr. Tanner? Hey Tanner, while you're here, were you using Midland? Did you not like Midland? I never got your opinion on it. Andy's using Midland. What's the other one called? Midway? Is it Midway? I thought when I Googled them, I thought I seen Graga. So I don't know if Graga bought Midway or something like that. Maybe that's why our big vendor got away from the mom and pop place. Andy really likes these. The Brazilian hot dog man, Andy. He said they're a little bit more pricey, but good quality. Blackberries here. Holy cow. Did you just wake up from the crypts? No pitfalls here and save me. Do I get a truck or do I get a van or do I get a horse and buggy? I'm looking for a horse and buggy. Sent you an email last month, link to garage door opener, ready to uploaded. Did you go in your spam folder? I don't think I'd seen it. I've only seen two people was it this month? I think it was this month, and one was for a tool list. And what was the other one for? There was something else. So I'll have to check. If you think of it, if you got it, or two, if it's readily available, resend it. I'll look for it tonight. Maybe I didn't get it. That's a bummer. Working like crazy. Good for you. Years through lumber yards, most their chance. I ate the Midland dealers alive here. I was running into quality control big time. It's very similar. I don't know if North Central goes this far, but a way better door and experience. Supposedly, I kind of always like when it's a little bit more mature guy that stops by. I know one of the ladies talked to him. I didn't really get to see him, but you know, kind of got the blessings. I heard it's similar to Clopay, but a little better than Clopay, which is fine. Our Clopay is just bombing right now, and they got a third party uh, company, and it's just not good. It's just not good. We had some guy just show up, and he's like, it's like on the cart, three doors are on a cart, and he's like, we're just gonna roll it off, and they're like the whole damn thing. And I guess he showed up in he had an Amazon trailer. So one of the guys was like, well, I think he worked for Amazon. And I'm like, I don't think so. I was like, I think he bought the trailer, and then the tractor was different. I wasn't here for the unload, and it was just it wasn't good. And then we just can't get touch up paint. We've had the door sections. We had that window off placement with one of them. It just seems like they've been really falling off the cliff lately. So it feels like we're being forced to have to find somebody else. 1%. I guess if it switches, I guess we go to this. I don't know. You'll find it interesting. I'll check it out. The nice thing too is I guess well I think you can kind of do it with Clope. I guess you can get all your stuff. They got it where you can look online and get the pricing and stuff, which is nice for the girls. Up there, I believe I told my rep about you, and he said he would get you their info if you wanted to give them a shout. Huh? You think North Central is better? What's I mean, here's this is I guess this is how I need to paint the picture, right? We need somebody that's basically the Clope. You know what I'm saying? We need somebody that's got the fancy stuff, the black doors, they got the windows, but not Clope, if that makes sense. So Clope, our distributor is just not. It's just the some lady left and they took three other people, and then our normal truck driver that was a really awesome truck driver. He's not driving. He said, "Nope." I told him 3 times now. He says, "I'm not. I'm done. I'm working from the shop. I'm not going out." And yeah, so it's just like it just seems like it's becoming too much of a. I mean, we've had broken weather seal. Um, we've had they couldn't get us the iron ore. Email after email after email. So finally, I just go to Sherman Williams, got a whole quart or pint, where it was a big one. Gave it to the customer because we just they need to take care of this customer. Um, the window being off, the door that we just did that was a non-insulated door, and it's like they pinch the stiles in, like they just pinch it with a pincher, and it's supposed to like smash the metal. Every center stile was like loose, like wasn't pinched right, and it was like, dude, this is like like when I do door installs, I don't know about you guys, but like I don't like to have to think. That makes sense. Like I just want to go and do my door install. So I sit there and if I go, gosh, I got to really use a lot of brain power to like fix somebody else's mistake. Think about how it works with a technician, or you bring in somebody new or a subcontractor, and they're like, now it's a phone call to you. And they're like, what do you want me to do? And you're like, what are you talking about? Can you send me a video? The internet's not that good, or my pictures won't go, or my phone's full. It just starts, it compounds. So it's like, you know, well, I told the customer and he's seen it now and he's not real happy. And you're, why did you tell the customer? You know, I think we lost our, you have to let me know if we lost audio. I think we're on the phone now, so it might be a little squirrelier. Hopefully, when you're not moving around, it's still not too bad. Oh, I'm offline. It's the real world out here. Scary. Oh, process of new panel design, foam insulation. Graga dies on them, but according to the news on the street, Graga is leaving the U.S. Only available in Canada soon. Hey, Steven, thank you. Audio's still good. You know, maybe if somebody's got any insight on this, I don't know why. I really don't think there was anything directly ever dealt with, but I feel like with the Graga doors, I don't know why. I don't know if it's just something I've heard or whatever. I feel like they kind of got a bad rap. Like I don't know if I can. Of course, I'm on my phone, so I don't know if this computer's. I don't think this is. I think this one's shut down for the weekend. We'll see if it'll fire up fast enough. But I guess what I'm getting at is like, I could be wrong with this. If anybody knows, is it Midway? There was Midland, and there's another door company that starts with an M. Is it Midway? And I'm pretty sure if it's Midway, I'm pretty sure Midway was the one that my vendor used. That's the mom and pop place. That does a lot of the LiftMaster and stuff. And when you'd open up the box, the residential box, it had a list in there, and somebody personally went through and checked off all the boxes. There was two, bearing plates, blah 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 blah. Hinges are all there, and it was very. I loved it. I was like, wow, this is really nice, and their stuff was good. I had no problem with their products, and so it really threw me when I believed that they got away from them. But then when I thought I looked online, it said when I thought I looked up Midway. I'm gonna try to find it. It said Graga, like Graga bought Midway, and I went, huh. I wonder if quality went down for them, and that's why they went to Richard Wilcox. Could be totally just it was just something I didn't do a lot of research on, and I just kept thinking, maybe when Graga gets a part of stuff, maybe it starts kind of going downhill a little bit. I don't know. It's just some weird illusion in my head I've been thinking of. So then, this guy, I like that. I like honesty, you know what I mean? And I like the guy said, he goes, our prices aren't going to be like super fantastic. Oh man, he's got big stuff, man. This is like, I think I see Tanner up there driving that. That's the big boy stuff. I didn't know they had bifold doors. It's kind of cool. I used to work on the bifold doors. Those big openers right there. Didn't really enjoy it. Mike, territory manager. So, which is fine. I like that. We need to find something. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a better option. Oh, residential garage jobs. They're great in my opinion. Kind of different with wood and styles, legs, screws, drills for center hinges, but they were nice. And I'm super proud I bought residential Mid-American. That's what it is. Why am I thinking Midway? Mid-American, I believe, is what my rep told me. I bet that's the one that they were using. It's been so long, I can't remember if that company was using Midland or if they were using Mid-American. I bet they were using Mid-American, and Mid-American was the one that had the residential boxes. Like I said, it had the sheet in there, and they had somebody's initials, and they would check all the boxes, and they had all the hinges and everything was laid out there very nicely. It was very, like, you opened up, it was like Christmas. You're like, oh, like, look at this is nice. Instead of like you open up like a Wayne Dalton box, and it's just like, it's got like a weight sticker on it. They're like, yeah, it's just a weight thing. Oh, it's a little off. Yeah, take a few nuts and bolts and sprinkle that in there. That's good enough. You know, it's missing a hinge. Where the Mid-American, it was like everything was stacked real nice. Rollers were in their bags and stuff. You're just like, oh yeah, you just like could grab them, put them on the table, leave them in the box. Everything was marked from whoever JC is or something, you know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, JC did this one, awesome. Well, if you start seeing enough JC and missing stuff, I'm calling the company and saying JC's screwing up. So that was nice. It was nice. So I thought that's really, because I think we tried Mid-American years and they were like, oh no, like we got somebody in that area. They were kind of like Clope, we didn't really push that hard. We're like, oh, okay, whatever. And but I believe that Mid-American, when I was Googling it, it said Graga on it, and I was just like, I was like, I wonder if the quality went down, like after they got bought out or something, and so that's why that company, maybe because they were a small company, thought, hey, we want to support another small company or a family-owned company. I don't know the whole story. Such America, please, what my rep told me. I'm gonna try to see if I can Google it. These computers are really slow. They're gonna get some new ones, I guess, because they're so slow. I think they do it on purpose. I think they don't quite do it with your phone as much because they want you to carry that and they track you with that. It's like my daughter's using she got the app because she's a new driver, right? So she's recording all her time driving right now, and like it'll give her a report, aggressive stopping, acceleration, and I'm sitting there just kind of looking at that, going, I mean, you don't think they're doing that with us not even consenting to that and sending that crap to our insurance companies or this or this or this? Like, you get one of those little bags and put my phone in the bag, or get the radio. I've still been thinking about the radio, Tanner. I still, man, you got to remember, right? And I'm totally having some fun here, right? So I just sitting there and I'm thinking, this is like me talking to myself. You ever do that? Like in the shower, you're doing something out in the woods, you're whatever, you're just working on a vehicle or something. And I'm like, I'm like, Tanner, Tanner took so freaking long. He took so freaking long to listen to me about Jobber. I'm telling him about these walkie talkies, but he's just not getting on the train, man. He's just not getting on the train. Like, these radios are like game changer, man. I love the radios. We can hear everybody talking about what's going on, right? And I needed those circuit boards up for a gate operator. And it was like, hey, Johnny, like, can you bring me a circuit board on your way up here? You're going to go home. You got to go pick up the kid. You have to get up and get some gas. It's no problem. No problem. But we need you up here. Bring that circuit board. Can you bring a circuit board? Bring two circuit boards, please. And it's just, everything's communicated. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows what's going on. It's just so much faster than like texting or calling. And then, well, she didn't know what was going on, so she scheduled this. And it's just like, it's just so rapid fire. You know what I mean? And things are changing so fast for us a lot of times with what we do sometimes. Or we get a call, hey, is somebody at the shop, or somebody be there? We got a delivery. Everybody hears it, right? It's we had one the other day. I know I'm busy, somebody else is busy. Turns into the whole what was it? The guy he knew he was going to be done soon, so he gets on there and says, hey, I can do that detail after I get done. Then you hear him, well, what time do you think you'll be? Probably somewhere around 1 or 2. I could head out that way. It's just amazing. Then we had actually a phone situation where our towers went down, and they do work off towers, so they were a little bit soft, I want to say, but they still worked. The phones wouldn't work. Couldn't make the phones work. Your personal phone, if you were at the shop, that we had a tower down. The radio still worked. Like I said, it's still, you had to go outside, but you could at least make it work, where it's like working on a lower platform. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, we still could communicate. What says this cool thing about God, the color outside is the color inside. So if you get black door there, black inside. Ooh. I don't know if I like that. I forgot about that. I think you were the one that said it to me, weren't you, Tanner? I was like, that could be a callback for us. I could see a customer being like, yo, I wanted the outside black, but the inside I got drywall. I want it white. Like, I want black doors absorbing all my light in here. So I don't like that. That's my personal preference. I just don't like having black on black. I'd rather have, black on white type of thing for garage doors, or brown on white. Oh, cool thing. Yeah. I just, it's one of those things, like I said, remember, I just thought, I know you were pretty excited about the, with Jobber. You were like, man, why didn't we start this sooner? And I look at it today now too, and I just go, I don't know how we do without Jobber. Like, we clock in our hours, all this stuff. We can job cost. I can look at the schedule. We can see what everybody's doing. It's a single platform that everybody can do from home, remote, from their phone. And it's just a game changer. And the more that we keep, like, I don't see a downfall where I go like, man, we shouldn't have used these. Like, these were kind of a waste of money. It's like within probably about day 3 or day 5, I was like, wow. And it just seems like it just keeps getting better and better and better and better, because I keep finding more things that I'm going, that helps, that everybody, it's like having team meeting. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, we're all moving in this direction. Hey, we're all doing this right now. This is what's going on. This is the situation we're in. Um, we were in a spot even down by the lakeshore. We had bad service, and I was going to have one of the ladies call tech support, and then I was going to radio because I couldn't get tech support there where I was at, and be communicating back and forth. And then we had where like Caleb was there. He didn't bring his radio, but Cap was. So I told Cap, "We'll give Caleb your radio so we can both be on the master slave. You can go down the road. You kind of know what's going on. You get a whole tech support, and then you can be calling us or whatever." And we can communicate. So it just seems like it's a really nice tool to have. I just like having the options. And I like that fact that you hear them. I mean, some of the pitfalls I'd say is like you got to kind of watch. Like you go into a store, I like to turn the radio up, so all of a sudden I'll be like standing there. I'm like standing in line or something. I'm like holding my radio. I found out if I hold it up to my chest, it's really quiet. So I'm like, oh yeah. Like I was at AutoZone the one day, and I'm like trying to like turn it down. I'm like, yeah, sorry man, like damn radio, And I'm like trying to like hit the button. Shut up, shut up. Shh. Can you guys be quiet? So I don't know. It's kind of cool. So you pay kind of an upfront. Like I said, there's that one company out there that advertises like a crazy. Is called Rapid Radio. I think they're out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Um, I heard mixed reviews, and I think they're kind of like the John Deere. So I just need a mower. I don't need the John Deere mower. So I found these ones on Amazon, and they were I don't know half the price or whatever. It was easy because I figured it was Amazon and we did something and we didn't like it. It's Amazon's so easy just to send back, and they'll either just let you have the radios or they'll give you the money back or whatever. So I thought, hell, we'll just order them from Amazon. So I think she ordered like 2 packs of them or something like that. Um, and like I said, they take a little bit of time to set up because, like for us, we had individual people, which they still do have names on them, which is nice because sometimes we're in the shop here, like there's supposed to be there should be an office one here. I don't know where it's at. It's kind of weird. Oh, it's right here. So this is the office one. Let's see if I can turn it on or if it is on. Only one thing I don't like is I don't like that this button's not your power button. Like that looks like a power button to me. I go, oh, it's green. It's got a lock. But actually your power button's on the side here. You gotta hold it down. Turns on. This is a POC. Is it POC Global? POC Global. Does this little QR thing if you were setting it up. This little thing. This one says office. It says it's not in the group, it's idle. Now, they did have it where we could pick individual people. We emailed the company out. It's one of those companies like you don't really talk to anybody. It's an email. And I was surprised they actually did it. I figured they couldn't do it, but they made it so we can't have individual because I didn't want people talking individual on this. I thought maybe I'd regret it, but I don't because these are supposed to be basically like police radios. So if you're using this, everybody needs to hear what's going on. If you want to talk private, then you obviously got your cell phone. You text somebody, you call somebody. But this is over the radio. Hey, is anybody at the shop? Hey, I got somebody for a service call. Hey, I need help. It worked out great because we were on the radio Friday, I think it was. And I ran into a problem. I had a guy that was coming up to me. And so he got on the radio and said, hey, I'm down south right now. I'm going to start heading your way unless and I said, why don't you hold up? Now we had the office girl. And I said, hey, she's already got the stuff ready. So I said, if you can pick this one drill bit from Menards and then go to the shop, she's going to have the stuff ready for you and then head this way. And I said, but contact me before you leave the shop. So just in case I think of anything else. And it worked like butter. You know what I mean? So everybody heard, and then the office hears, what's going on. Okay, I'm supposed to make sure that stuff's out front for him or whatever because he's on his way or he's in motion. So it really just helps out a lot. And then when we needed I think we needed a circuit board. One of the technicians, was here with the office and said, hey, can I can head that way. I'm done for the day, so I'll just take my personal truck. I'll come up to you Perfect. That works out great. So there's just I don't know. They're they're like the Swiss Army knife. You know what I mean? Like I really, they got the port. They seem like they last about 3 to 5 days if you don't use them a lot for the battery. I turn mine off at night so it lasts even longer. So they don't take a lot of charge. It does have this silly like flashlight on it. I guess you can have a flashlight, but that's kind of goofy and cheesy to me. But whatever. I guess it does have ports on it. I didn't even know it had these. I didn't even use these. It's got these little ports. I guess you could put a headset on if you wanted to. But they're cheap. You do. It's like the deposit machines, like Ron. It's weird, but you pay for the yearly. It's a yearly contract. Then you pay I think like 20 or 30 bucks per radio per year. So it's pretty inexpensive. It's pretty cheap. I should turn it off before I get tempted to hit the button. But yeah, when you first buy them for the year, it's basically free. You buy them up front, and then you just pay 20 or 30 bucks per thing. It's nice. They got the clip. They fit really good into my cargo pants. Now that our first garage job brown doors implied wood, it was dark. Yeah. Thank God. Then the guy I got it from because it was black inside and out. What's this carrier? Is it carrier? Oh, carrier pigeon. Could go down, and I'm still rocking, right? Well, that's like why the neighbor guy. It's amazing how people. It's kind of like you can get how do I say it? It's like no offense, right? But people can get like sucked into, let's say, like CNN or Fox News, and it's like whatever they say is gold. So the neighbor guy, he's over there one day. We're just talking. And he's like, I'm thinking about buying some of those radios. He says, and he didn't even know we had these. And I had it in my pocket, and I pulled it out. I said, one of these? Yeah, one of those. He goes, that's a lot cheaper than a cell phone. And he goes, you can talk from anywhere. And I said, well, you can. I said, but you got to have cell. No, he goes, the ones that they advertise, they say you can talk from anywhere. I think they use satellite. And I said, no. I said, what they're trying to, you can talk from like Michigan to Florida. I said, but if you got to have cell service. I mean, this thing shows right on here is 4G. And he's like, really? He goes, I swear the ones I'm looking at. I said, I highly doubt it. I'm just letting you know. But I'm sitting there watching that Rapid radio. What do they always advertise? You can talk from anywhere. They don't say, as long as you got cell phone service, so it's weird how people can get. So he was a little bit too hyped up, I thought. Oh, Steven, the range, these are just like cell phones. So I could talk to you if you had one, if we were linked. Now they got to get programmed. That's the only one thing I don't think I can, as far as I know, I can't do it myself. I have to call the manufacturer. There's a SIM card in here. And I think I have to either give them the SIM card number, or they have to connect to this radio and then connect me to but for like this, it runs, I think we've got like, I think it's 8 or 10 radios. So basically if I queue this up, I'm queuing up all the radios right now. And that's what I like about it. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to be individual because we did have it where I seen the one day, I think Caleb was using it, and that's when we kind of were beta testing it, and he was contacting just me. But the problem was he's on the radio, right? And so I think Cap did have his radio, and he's on the radio at a job with a gate operator, and he's kind of out in the country a little bit, and he's like, oh, Cap's here. He's like, so I guess I'll talk to him for a few minutes. He must be just checking on the job. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, cool, man. He's just checking out things. He's up that way anyway, so he's just checking on the job. Awesome, good for him. Then I hear him get back on the radio. Oh, I guess he didn't see me. Well, he didn't know that we picked up a U-Haul van because somebody either needed to use Caleb's or his was for service or whatever. So it didn't even dawn on him that he just kind of seen, he's seen electricians there and seen a U-Haul van. Probably just was like, all right. But if his radio, if Caleb wasn't contacting me directly and he was using the whole radio, Cap would have probably heard the radio transmission and been like, hey, are you on site? Like, well, I'll stop and talk to you about what's going on or how, and it was the end of the day anyways. So it was like, I'm not going to phone call him and be like, hey, man, like, you just left one of your guys, one of your workers, you were just there, I guess. You're just leaving. Oh, well, I'll turn back around again, or something. Or it was the end of the day. It was like, whatever, man. He was dropping off concrete or metal or something anyway. So it was like, wrap it up, head out. But that was the reason. It was like, hey, I don't want these to be individual. You need it to be everybody. If you want individual, text or call, that's why you got your cell phone. Can they do? That's a good question. That was one thing after we ordered them, I was a little bit scared of. I don't think, I have not tried that. So that is something to think about. Because it would be really nice if you were able to have an earbud in. I mean, obviously it's got these ports. So let me try to think. I'm just thinking if I even had a thing I use for the cameras, I mean, obviously you got where you could put a mic type thing in your ear, but I don't know about Bluetooth. Let me just try to scroll through this kind of. So, I guess there really isn't much to scroll through. It doesn't have nothing. And that might be because they changed. Okay, here we go. We got group. We have member select, which is what you used to go into for your settings. Enter. Dual SIM card, power saving, auto, ketone, key lock, single call system, zone. I don't think this does, from what I can tell. So that would be something to consider. But, to be honest with you, it hasn't fell into my situation yet, but would be nice. It'd be nice if it did have that option. I'm not gonna lie. But so far, it hasn't been a problem. I just don't know if sometimes you can get too techy. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have too much. You got ear stuff in. Some people like even those AirPods. I really don't know why. I don't enjoy having it in one ear. I gotta have them in both ears. But then it has that where it drowns out the sound. I mean, the stuff's almost kind of dangerous. Like it feels like like you could be if a piece of equipment was coming up on you, or I've had them a couple times where I've been like driving and it's like I feel like I could possibly not hear an ambulance or something, or a fire truck. So so I don't know if that'd be if it's just too much. Because I don't even know how if you're linked to your phone, listen to music. Because I know some people do that too. Of course, there you go. If you got the radio, you're not hearing it. So, but yeah, I don't think these ones do. And I think after we ordered them, it was kind of like one of those like, ooh, it was like, does that do Bluetooth? And it was like, I don't know. They're ordered. It was like, okay, we just forget about it. Whatever. Don't think about it. Got it. And so far, it's been pretty good. But Bluetooth might be something if you want. You might have to look at some different radios. There's a better. This is what they came in. Oh, I can't read it. It's going backwards. Let me just see if it says EDU, single person chat, group chat. Full system, huh? Also not. I don't know if it said anywhere more about Bluetooth or anything. Network digital trunking radio. One machine in hand, peace of mind. Zero distance communication. Interesting. But very happy with them. Very happy, especially for a group. If I was a single guy or like even like probably like Papa Tony, I don't know if I would say I'd recommend them. You only got a couple guys or something like that. But if you got probably, I don't know. You know what I mean? I start thinking like you start getting over 3 or 4 people plus. You know what I mean? A lot of people in the field and stuff. 5 or 10 are done. Phones out, they will be working off satellites. I've heard some good things about that Starlink, and then I thought I've heard a little bit of bad stuff. You know, some people saying it either got expensive or wasn't connected. I mean, most time I hear like truckers and stuff like using it, and they seem to be pretty happy with it. And it's got a beautiful name, right? Starlink. It's like Star Wars, you know, just Starlink. And if of course I guess I'm assuming the phone's going to be kind of expensive. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't realize it uses the cell towers. Yeah, it's and, you know, and what's nice about it is we had some. It's kind of bugging in this box. It's not going back together the way I wanted it to. But we had some that were phones, and I didn't like those. I forget, they were kind of an off-brand, but they were through Sprint, and I remember it was like, it was a phone, you could text, you could take pictures, but then it had a side button that you push. It was like trying to mimic like Nextel, and it was just really glitchy, you know, just very glitchy. You know, you get on it and it just didn't work. It paused out, beep beep beep. You're just like, you know, it's like, I'm kind of a fan when you get to, it's like kind of like having GPS. If you got a Garmin or something, right? It's just a GPS unit. That's it. It has one job. You know what I mean? So I like that sometimes, right? Because you try to use your phone, and if you're a business person, you know, you're on the phone, somebody calls, they got some question, it's a good customer, you're talking to them, yeah, okay, yeah. And the stuff's come a long ways, but it used to just mute it out, right, in the background. And then now it's like, all of a sudden, there you go past your exit, and you're like, mother fudger, you know, and now you're like, I don't know how I'm going to, you know, and you don't want to say nothing because you're talking to this good customer, and you're like, yeah, you know. And so, but if you can watch a GPS that's separate and it has one job while you're on the phone, right, it does separate. So these seem to be working really good. They're separate, they do their own thing. They're made for one thing, and that's to communicate across multiple. It reminds me of police radios, and they just work really good. Everybody can hear what's going on. As more people come in, dispatch, everybody can just, I mean, obviously we're not working that rapidly, but it's just amazing to hear people chime in, and you're just like, this is way easier than trying to be like, message this person, hey, I'm going to have him come when he's done, or can you let him know also that I told you. It reminds me of like when we went to like, I don't know if Tanner uses a phone system like we use the Ring Central, and that was life changing for me because I'm not very good on the phone. Like, I can do sales good, but I'm not good with like always getting the email right or the address right and all that stuff. That just kind of goes through the brain. And or I'd have problems. I'd talk to the secretary or something, and she'd go, well, what'd they say? Or what do they want? And I'd be like, hey, you know what? The phone line is recorded, so you can listen to it and you'll hear everything that I heard. And so if you have any other questions, I can't answer that. Like, you heard what I heard. So this is what it is. This is where we're at. And so that was revolutionary to me. Recorded phone lines for all the secretarial stuff. That was amazing. You know what I mean? That's just all recorded. The radios have turned into that, where it's saving so much time than to call, they didn't answer, to message, you know, and sometimes they don't even listen in. I mean, once in a while we'll get a little bit of feedback where somebody will kind of chime in, hey, was somebody calling for me? I think we need to be a little more disciplined with, like, I've listened to police scanners for all my life. It seems like when I was a baby. So I know, like, you know, you're supposed to call out, and then, you know, like, you know, hey, do you got your radio on? You know, give a heads up, where like sometimes people are just jumping in and they're just like, hey Dave, blah blah blah, and it's like, you're like, by the time you start tuning in, you're like, you missed half the conversation. You're like, what? Hey, what was that? Did you call me? It's like, what? Well, this blah 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 blah. Oh, okay. You know, so it's there's a little bit of growing pains. Hey, Blackberry, I'll check for that email. Thanks for swinging in. I agree, Rich. The Nextel was amazing. The Nextel was just, didn't realize how good we had it. I think I still got 2 or 3 of those phones. I just can't separate myself from them. You know, I sit there sometimes, and I even flip the black one. Just had that perfect flip to it and shut and would turn it off. I mean, how easy? How many times did us contractors and that, right? You're on a job, you're talking to somebody, yo, yeah, what's going? Okay, yeah, yeah. And we turn it on our chest. We use our chin, whatever. We use the side of our stomach or whatever our hip. And turn the phone off, and you knew if it flipped down, basically it was off, or you could chirp it and you could still see it on the front screen a little bit on the newer one, but you just knew it turned off. I bought a flip phone because I kind of missed that experience, and the damn thing was delayed. Like I would be done talking to somebody, okay, yep, and it seemed like it took it a damn minute for it to shut off. Like one time I was sitting there like, oh yeah, that was, and I could still hear him talking. And I'm like, hello? I'm like, it didn't shut off. Like I flipped the phone down, it's supposed to shut off, and I'm just thinking like, what a bummer, man. What a bummer. But yeah, the beep beep. It was always fun too to always play with your buddies, right? When they're in line or something, right? You knew they're in line at the store or something, at the box store or the lumberyard, right? Hey man, look at that guy over at the and they'd be what the yeah. I do miss them. That blows my mind. It's almost like there was something too good about them that they said, "Yo, whoa. We can't have the general public having this. Like this is too good. This is too fast and too rapid. They could build a coalition. They could wipe us out. They can't have this. We can't monitor this." Because it's kind of weird. Like the more I've been watching, I'm kind of big into always police investigations and stuff. It's always funny to me. It's like, could they ever get so much information? Because every time I watch these newer ones, I still never hear them really talk about phone conversations. Now I know they can tap, but that's if they got the warrant and they went through stuff, and now they tap it in a sense. I don't know about cell phones. I still had 100% we tap their line and listen to it. I think I've heard a few, but the text messages, that's next level, baby. They're constantly catching those. They catch them. People try to delete them. They get them. I don't know if they can get them. I assume that it's there. I just don't know if it's like they let us know it's there in the database. But I always wonder if they don't get the phone, they could never recover the information. But they seem like they always get the phone. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just always that weird next level craziness stuff I always think about. And I always think of, how did we have something that works so good but nobody came back out with it to work so good? It was kind of primitive too. It worked off of 3G or something. We got rid of it. I don't know. Like I said, I tried to upgrade into the newer style, their Kerosene or whatever the heck it was. It was absolutely garbage. Didn't work. I almost thought these might turn into it, where they're going to be real glitchy and real cut out. Like when I used the Sprint ones, they were always like, you'd be talking to somebody, hey, what do you like it was like what was that again? These seem to work pretty clear. They're pretty straightforward. I've noticed the only thing is if somebody else is talking, I push the mic. Obviously, also they're still talking, so it does pretty good on that because you don't override them. And it turns into a glitch like a CB would. So I'm pretty impressed. I mean, I don't know if I'd say I don't know because I never had the rapid radios. I don't want to say if they're better, but the price was right. They were a good price. Oh, they were great for the amusement parks. I'd like to have some of these. I keep thinking these radios, I'd like to have a personal set for me and my family, just so I'm not carrying the phone. They still have a way to communicate, or if I get into some kind of maybe emergency or something. But I know, we use walkies all the time. The kids love it. You know what I mean? Especially the young one. But I use them all the time, even at job sites. So I'll be using them for like, hey, pull the vehicle up, or hey, did you see the light turn on? When you're diagnosing stuff. I don't know if Tanner might have went to sleep, but if Tanner's still here, I was wondering if he got those gate operators. You got those gate operators yet, Tanner? Got yourself some linears? Yep, I agree with you, Rich. I totally agree with you on that. That's what all the AI centers. I know, it's really funny, right? And I'm pretty sure, Rich, you're the one that told me this. And that's what made my light bulb at least go off. But I can't get this out of my. I'm just so I'm really bitter. I'm bitter about it. ever since they came out with those smart meters for the electrical smart meters, I just can't get that out of my mind. I go, they made it just, oh, well, it eliminates somebody from walking house to house and reading the meter. And all of a sudden, when it was like, oh, wait, that's not how they can collect when you use the peak hours, like ours is 11 to 7, peak hours. And I thought, those sons of biscuits, oh, well, we're getting the people, and these are going to be better, they always give us this fluff. And I can't tell you, the older I get, the more I look at stuff and I go, what are you feeding me? You're feeding me some kind of bullshit. I guarantee it. What are you feeding me? You know what I mean? Like, and that right there just grinds me, because an analog just used to rotate. They don't know if you're using it during noon or 1, or just rotate. Sometimes rotate faster during the day, rotate it slower at night. Maybe rotate it faster at night because you're using a hot tub or something. And you just use electricity. But now, we can meet. I'm sitting there thinking the other day, I kept thinking, when are they going to start doing that with water meters? When are they going to start coming on to water meters for your house or for your business? And they go, you know what? We're going to have peak hours. Because it seems like during the day, you guys are flushing toilets and you guys are running sprinklers and all kinds of stuff. So, we just don't have the demand, or we don't have the infrastructure for that. So we got to charge more for that. You know what I mean? Who knows what else they're going to do? Peak hours for running your car, subscriptions. You know what I mean? Because we don't own nothing anymore. You don't own the CD or the cassette player or the DVD or whatever, This makes me wonder. So but those AI, like, I don't hear anybody coming out and it's like, what the hell are they for? Is it because they're there to track you? Because if they came out, people, whoa, you know what I mean? That's why I kind of do like seeing what's going on with the F cameras. You know what I mean? I seen somebody at American. They put American. I thought that looks good. That looks good. Maybe Rich sent it to me. They covered it with American flag. It looks good. Looks good. It's patriotic. America. So I don't know. I just, but that's why when they keep talking about, and then I'm watching a guy talk about there's a shortage of copper, and that's what those things take, and and it's like you're just like, and now we don't have the infrastructure because we got rid of a lot of our power plants. Something doesn't smell right. Something just does not smell right. 3D cameras. Oh yeah. Didn't do away with those. They always get rid of the good stuff. Richie's guy goes, we're not in the club. I just watched George talk about that the other day, and I was just sitting there just shaking my head. He was really preaching it. Oh. 3D cameras are so clear, working on electrical boxes with bird's nest, wires, etc. Heck yeah. Huh. The breathing meter is coming. No, that's what really grinds me. It's really made me start thinking about that whole smart meter. And I mean, I was always kind of like, it's weird because we had ones too that had blinking lights. That must just irritated enough people that they finally got rid of them, because I think they changed one in the shop twice now. Because I remember I used to drive by and I used to kind of look at the side of the shop and I'd be like, oh, shop's got electricity. I could see the blinking red light. And I assume that they did that for when the power would go out or something, that the guys doing meters or doing tree line work or trying to get the power restored at nighttime could literally walk through an area and go, well, there's the line, and look down and go, well, their meter's running, so they got power. Or they must be coming off a different feed or something. You know what I'm saying? But then I don't know if it's just because the people could see it blinking. Some people had it close to their bedrooms or at the neighbors, and they're like, that's really annoying. They finally got rid of it. But ever since the meters, makes me rethinking. I just keep thinking about what rabbit hole we're going down next, where it's going to be the water meter, or it's going to be the gas meter, or it's going to be whatever. They're going to come out with a sewer meter, which I'm surprised they haven't yet. But I'm surprised they just don't have a camera that. Well, we think you're using more sewer than you are water or something. I don't know. You're drinking too much pop. winter's coming. All right, guys, we better get out of here. It's midnight. Time to go to bed. It's time to go to YouTube University and learn something, possibly, or just go to sleep and dream. Dream about the baby money. Oh, Bailey stops in now. I see how it is. We're cutting out, and he's stopping in. Late to the party, buddy. I'm just kidding. It's good seeing y'all. Hope you guys have a great Sunday. It's supposed to be beautiful weather up here in Michigan. A little bit cooler. That's nice. Using too much paper. That's right. Too much TP. Too much TP. All right, guys. Over and out. Keep those fingers. I love y'all. Have a great night. God bless you. Take care.